Warsaw, Poland and the iconic Stadion Narodowa hosted the opening round of the World Championship, and after scoring 8 points from a possible 9, Slovenian-born Mati Zegar was awarded the win after the meeting was curtailed due to an unsafe track. The man from Ljubljana's second victory of his Grand Prix career has allowed him to top the current World Championship table, but he knows that he can't be complacent about it.
Can we finish the GPs now and I win it? It's a nice feeling, yeah, well, I wouldn't say feeling, but as I said before, it's better to be in the front than chasing in the back, so great stuff.
Zegar has just a 1-point cushion over Poland's Jarek Hampel, Danish champion Niels Christian Iversen and Team Great Britain star Chris Harris at the top of the leaderboard. Harris received a silver medal after pipping Hampel and Iversen on countback, after they all tied on 7 points apiece.
Best start I've ever had to any start of the season, so yeah, confidence is high, feeling good on the bike, and yeah, just enjoying it.
So the World Championship moves north to Tampere in Finland, which is 90 minutes drive by road from the capital Helsinki, around 350 miles south of the Arctic Circle. The Ratina Stadium is home to round 2 of the series and is in the heart of the city, which boasts a population of 220,000. Last year, Slovenian Mati Zegar won the inaugural meeting after a turn 4 moment for Britain's Ty Woffenden allowed him to pass, something the 2013 World Champion is keen not to repeat.
Second's still not bad, so I was pleased with that, but we're here again. It's a different track, they've changed the shape, they've changed the material. It's proven to be a little bit tricky at the moment, but new year, new challenges, new goals, so yeah, we'll go out there and have some fun.
Finnish international Timo Lahti dons the famous number 16 race jacket as a wild card for this weekend's meeting. The 22-year-old, who was crowned Finnish champion in 2012 and won 5 Finnish under-21 titles, has emerged as one of the nation's brightest racing prospects.
All about the day, really, you know. On my good day, I have beaten all of them in my some meetings, so my goal is to hit the semi-finals, but we see what's happening.
Hello and a very good evening. Welcome along to the Ratina Stadium here in Tampere, Finland, the Finnish FIM Speedway Grand Prix, round 2 of the 2015 World Championship. I'm very much looking forward to the action getting underway in a few moments' time. Kelvin Tatum alongside me in the commentary box. As always, Kelvin, one thing about the first round being curtailed is that nobody is a runaway leader, nobody has a clear gap, it's all bunched up, and if you like, just starting all over again tonight.
In effect, yes, it was, you know, nobody's that far behind. Chris Holder had an awful meeting in Warsaw, but he's only 8 points behind the leader, Mati Zegar, who, must say, rode terrifically well on the night and fully deserved to come away championship leader. But as you rightly say, in effect, the championship almost starts again here this evening. And of course, we've got back-to-back Grand Prix with Prague just up in 7 days' time. So plenty of points available in the next couple of meetings.
Yeah, it's a month since the opening GP of the series, and we see the 2013 champion Ty Woffenden in blue here, ready to go in the opening race of the night. Now, Andreas Jonsson in red has had his injury problems, hasn't ridden in league racing for a month because of that serious knee problem that he's had. It'd be interesting to see how he goes here, because it's a testing track in terms of stamina. It's very, very long straights, Kelvin.
Very long straights, it's 400 metres. There will be a temptation for riders to carry too much speed when they come into the corners, so you've got to be very disciplined when you're out there. But Jonsson will be keen to get away to a big start here this evening.
Riders making their way onto the circuit then for the start of the second ever Finnish FIM Speedway Grand Prix here in Tampere. Chris Harris, the man in white there, who was on the podium in Warsaw a month ago and has been in good form for his British club Coventry Bees as well. Chris Harris. Thomas H. Jonassen is the rider in yellow here now from Sweden, Thomas H. Jonassen. And Ty Woffenden with 1 or 2 last-minute alterations. He's cut down on his schedule this year and says he feels pretty relaxed, Kelvin.
Yeah, he hasn't done that much racing yet. There's been some poor weather in Europe, and 1 or 2 meetings have been called off in Sweden and Poland, so he's dead keen to get on with it. He's desperate to go racing. That could well pay dividends later in the year when a lot of riders may be just becoming a little jaded, but Ty's been riding well in the meetings he's done. He's fully fit, he's trained hard this winter, and he says he's really focused on trying to win his World Championship back. But here this evening, it will be difficult to overtake, and there will be a massive emphasis on trying to make good starts. Because of the nature of the track and the length of the track, it's a long, long way to that first corner, and you're going to need a lot of horsepower to make sure you get there. But time will tell to see if the riders have got a good setup.
Here we go with the opening race of the night then here in Tampere, a very, very big racing circuit here, long straights with Andreas Jonsson, who has been carrying that knee injury off the inside in red. Ty Woffenden almost won here last year, he goes off gate 2 in blue. It's the battle of the Brits on the middle 2 gates here with Chris Harris, who's been in a good bit of form so far this season, and Thomas H. Jonasson in yellow. Harris, the one man in this lineup in the opening race who has had more racing under his belt than anybody else in this first race of the evening, riding for the Coventry Bees in the British Elite League. Krista Gardell is our referee. Here we go. Heat number 1, Jonsson off the inside, but Woffenden gets the drop from gate number 2. That's a tidy start from Woffenden, and bunching up down the back straight now. Jonasson holds second, Jonsson is third, and Chris Harris is at the back right now. But that was a fine move as Harris charges up the inside of Jonsson to third, but Woffenden looking good, made a lovely start and got the drop in that first turn.
Well, that was just all about horsepower to the first corner there, because in actual fact, Jonsson dropped the clutch first and was away from the tapes. But got to say, a lot of credit to the bike setup of Woffenden right from the word go here, because his bike pulled his arms off going to the first corner, and he's comfortably out in front. Tight through the first corner between the two Swedes, and Harris trying to get up the inside of Jonsson. But it was Thomas H. Jonasson that actually got himself nicely into second place. But the former world champion, Ty Woffenden, very comfortable and fast out in front.
Just that one slip coming out of the turn 4 last year here allowed Zagar through to pip him into the post for victory here in Tampere. But it looks as though Great Britain's Ty Woffenden is going to open up with 3 big points here. Woffenden, Jonasson, Jonsson and Harris is your finishing order for the first race of the night. And Woffenden, who said in the week is more relaxed than ever before, he's riding a Peter Johns tuned engine that is working beautifully for him.
Yeah.
He got a maximum in Poland for Betard Wroclaw last weekend, and he was flying there in heat number 1.
Indeed he was, and he made it look very easy out in front, but he did the hard work going to the first corner, stamped his authority on the race right from the word go.
Woffenden, Jonasson, Jonsson and Harris, your finishing order in the first race of the night. Woffenden, who got 5 points in Warsaw a month ago, that puts him on to 8 in the series overall, level with Zagar now, and 1 ahead of Chris Harris. So Woffenden joint leader of the series after the first race of this second round tonight.
And this is where the damage was done, because he was able to get a reasonable start. I said Jonsson made a very good reaction, but the bike of Woffenden really pulled hard to that first corner out of gate 2, and he was able to get his nose in front, and then he doesn't put a wheel wrong. Thomas H. Jonasson rides nicely to get into second place, bunched hard coming out of the first corner, but Chris Harris just couldn't land a blow. But Woffenden had plenty of speed here, and really and truly the other 3 riders weren't able to land a blow. Evidence of the fact that starting will be at a premium here this evening. Very difficult to overtake, high speeds of course, but the style of Woffenden, delighted to start with 3 points. He'll be pleased with that.
Yeah, great start from Woffenden then, born in Scunthorpe in the UK, but brought up in Australia, spent his childhood in Australia before his late father Rob and his mum Sue took them back to Europe, to the UK, where he rode in the 3rd division in the UK with Scunthorpe, the Conference League days. And here now, Chris Holder in yellow.
Just want to have a quick chat about Chris. Chris has been struggling a little bit this season for confidence, and unfortunately yesterday did have a crash in practice. And he has been working his way back to fitness. He's riding in the UK. He has been busy this season so far, but he'll be delighted. He needs to get out of the start and try and hit the front to really build his confidence. Failed to score, of course, in Warsaw.
Yep, Matti Zagar goes off the inside here, winner here last year. Rides for the Bellevue Aces in the UK as well. He's off the inside. Christoph Kasperzak missed this round last year with a knee ligament injury. Troy Batchelor, who's had his fair share of knocks already this season, he goes off gate 3 in white. and Chris Holder, former world champion in yellow. Niels Christian Iversen of Denmark watching on. Holder, who has had an inconsistent start to the season so far.
And I think it's primarily through confidence, Nige. He's had so many severe injuries over the last 2 seasons, and he's found it difficult to bounce back. And when you continually find yourself hurt, it can play on your mind. And he needs to just have a few meetings and a few weeks without any sort of dramas. Coming from the outside, it won't be easy here in his opening ride.
Heat number 2, here we go. Tate tries, and Zagar's made a good one, but so has KK off 2. Holder goes wide around the outside and up the inside in Bachelor. That's a tiny move from the Australian. Here comes Kasperzak down the back straight as well. Lovely move from the pole in blue. Bachelor will try the reverse switch. Zagar around the outside. Holder now comes up the inside of Zagar. Good first lap of Speedway.
Very much so, and Kasperzak really did pounce down the back straight. I thought Holder nearly running in the back of Bachelor. Very tight indeed as they came out of the second corner. Oh, look at Zagar coming at Holder as well. Riders really have a go in Heat 2. Kasperzak out in front. He's comfortable. Bachelor settling nicely. But the race for third, Nigel, not over just yet.
Ruthless Speedway here in the early stages of heat number 2. Kasperzak with that lead in the blue helmet colour into the final lap of the race. Troy Bachelor holds second place in white. Had his injury problems, as we say.
Yeah.
Crashed on bank holiday Monday in the UK, riding for the Swindon Robins. Chris Holder is third, and Matti Zagar looks like a 0 in his opening ride. But Christoph Kasperzak, what a move that was down that back straight. A stunning swoop from KK in the early stages of heat number 2 after Bachelor made a fine move as well.
Yeah.
It was all very tight. Lots of skill on display there.
Absolutely, moves early in the race will be very key. When you settle down out in front with the high speeds here, it's going to be difficult to actually get yourself back in the race. And we saw some really hard moves early on. Riders clearly identifying that as the case. Kasperzak hasn't been in great form this year. Rides nicely in Heat 2 and picks up the 3 points.
Kasperzak the winner with Bachelor second, Holder was third, and Zagar at the back. 3 points for Kasperzak. It has to be said, Kelvin, so far, if you don't ride in the UK in the early stages of this season, with a month between the GPs, there's been bad weather in Sweden and Poland. These guys haven't had a lot of competitive action, have they?
Yeah,
unless you ride in the UK.
They're coming in a little bit undercooked, but Grand Prix is different. Look at that move from Kasperzak, a split-second decision there. He tucks back to the inside, gets his wheels in line, carries lots of speed, and is able to charge to the front. Tight between Holder and Bachelor earlier on, with Holder very nearly running in the back of Bachelor. Zagar coming into the picture. This is all early in the race. Zagar there trying to find a way through on the inside, but couldn't make it stick.
But, as if to actually argue against the point that I just made, Kasperzak was the only rider in Heat 2 who doesn't ride in the UK this season. The other 3 boys following him home there.
You have to be careful about, at this level, I think riders don't always necessarily need to be riding every night of the week, and conditions in Grand Prix, particularly on temporary tracks where it's 400 metres, are very different from what you encounter in Britain, that's for sure. Good ride for Kasperzak, that he'll be pleased with that.
It's a long old run to the first turn.
Yeah,
what impact does that have on riders?
It impacts the equipment more than anything else. We saw with Wofferden, he didn't make the best start in his opening ride, but his bike dug in and drove hard to the first corner, better than Jonsson's, and that's why he won the race. And I spoke about that earlier. You need grunt in your engine. It's a long haul to that first corner, and you're going to have to trust that your bike can get you there.
Mats Janowski goes off the inside in red, with Timo Lahti, the wild card, the home favourite, going off gate 2 in blue. Greg Hancock, who is wearing green racewear tonight, not used to seeing Greg wearing green, and off the outside in yellow is Jarek Hampel of Poland in the yellow helmet. Problems here for Mats Janowski. His bike has packed up, he's managed to push it and get going again. So Mats Janowski with just one or two last-minute problems.
Last-minute problems, just stalled the bike on the start line, but it's fired back up into life. He's been carrying a knee injury. We haven't seen him in the UK for the last few weeks, but he's been riding in Poland. He's on the inside. That's a good chance from there.
Here we go then, heat number 3. That's a great start from Lahti off 2. Hancock go off 3. He's made a super start, and it's all very tight around the outside in yellow. Jarek Hampel. What again? It's such a long way to that first turn, particularly from the outside gate. But Jarek Hampel had all sorts of momentum. Second place is Hancock. Lahti is third, ahead of Janowski, the pole at the back right now. But what a swoop around the outside that was from Jarek Hampel of Poland.
Yeah, top class there from Hampel. He had a hard time last year and turned it around with one dramatic display where he got a huge amount of points that saved his Grand Prix probably of getting in the top 8. He's been fast this season. He's been in great form in Poland, and wow, is he fast here. He has cleared off out in front. It epitomised the amount of power you need here, because Lahti actually made the best jump but got relegated to 3rd place by the time he got to the first corner. But the race is all about Hampel, Nigel. Very, very impressive in his opening ride.
Yeah, he's got this one in the back quite comfortably, hasn't he? Jarek Hampel of Poland. This is his 95th Grand Prix, so he will go through the 100 GP barrier this year, injuries permitting, and he's got a victory under his belt there. That's a great ride from Jarek Hampel. He made it look all so easy when he made that swoop around the outside. Hancock was in the mix early on.
Yes, very tight as they got to the first corner, but Hampel just had that little bit of extra momentum, as you rightly said, Nige. Came sweeping across from the outside and was able to fly around the first corner and then cleared off out in front, similar to the pace that Wuthenden showed in his opening ride. But as I said, he has been in good form so far this year, Jarek Hampel, and that was demonstrated clearly in his first ride.
3 points on the night, moves to 10 overall now in the series. So Jarek Hampel is the new leader of the World Championship, but it is still early days. It's round 2. The result was Jarek Hampel the winner, Greg Hancock second, Timo Lahti third, and Matt Sajanovski finished at the back there in heat number 3. Watch this move from Hampel off the outside in yellow.
Yeah, this is top class, because it's an awful long way from there, and he just gets there in the nick of time and then winds it on and gets that nice swoop round the outside and fires himself to the front and has no trouble there at all. Won't be easy there. Lahti made a good start, but then gets out muscled here as they go through the first corner, with the world champion there in 2nd place in his green suit here this evening. He'll be hoping that that works out for him, but he didn't have the pace to chase that man down, that's for sure. Hampel starting in style like his compatriot KK, who won a previous race in the first round. So super stuff from Hampel, who looks like he could be a threat this evening.
Yeah, good stuff. Jarek Hampel then, brilliant stuff. And heat number 4 is coming up next. We see Niels Christian Iversen.
Yeah, this is the battle of the Danes, Nige.
Yeah,
you know, we've got 3 Danes. And Nicky Pedersen has been in very good form as well so far this season. Maybe another rider that's benefiting from the change of regulation to the exhaust pipe. Hampel, I believe, is with the same engine tuner as Nicky, and both of them have been in fine form this year. He comes from the outside in his first ride. Pedersen, a 3-time former world champion. Be interesting to see what he gets up with.
So, heat number 4 it is then. Nicky Pedersen, super fit. He had a crash in Denmark in midweek, but has said that his fitness has helped him be back in action tonight here in Tampere. Here's the lineup. Niels Christian Iversen going off the inside in red. Michael Jepsen Jensen goes off gate 2 in blue, gate 3 in white. Jason Doyle in his debut Grand Prix campaign, and off the outside is Nicky Pedersen, as fit as ever, as strong as ever, and looking to make a big impact this year.
Yeah, and I think he's going to go close. He's been in fine form so far in the early weeks of the season, and he looks as determined and as prepared as ever. I've got to say, he's a very professional man. Niels Christian Iversen hasn't been as consistent as he would have liked, but you can never count him out. He's another top professional.
Good line up this one then, and Jepsen Jensen's made a good one off 2. Pedersen's looking quick though. He's made the swoop across from gate number 4. 2nd place is Jepsen Jensen coming through in white here.
Fabulous.
What a move that is from Jason Doyle. He has got the better of Jepsen Jensen, and Niels Christian Iversen is at the back, but Nicky Pedersen has the lead right now. Jason Doyle 2nd, Michael Jepsen Jensen 3rd, and once again gate 4, and the speed you have because of the length into that first turn has worked a treat for Nicky Pedersen.
Yeah, and as I said, he's been looking good this season, and it's looking good again for him in Heat 4 here. Great move from Doyle to force his way into 2nd place. Niels Christian Iversen made a poor start there and wasn't able to get in the action, but Pedersen, once you get your nose in front here and the high speeds, if you don't make a mistake, it's going to be awfully difficult to chase the riders down. We've just got a lap to go, and Nicky Pedersen showing great speed, and Nige, at times in previous seasons he's struggled for speed, but not this year.
Yep, this is his 147th Grand Prix appearance. Nicky Pedersen is riding the track beautifully there, going into turns 3 and 4, going wide into the dirt and making more drive for himself, and Pedersen with a fine move. Jason Doyle showing great guts and determination there in the early stages of that one, pipping Michael Jepsen Jensen and Niels Christian Iversen at the back. But Nicky Pedersen, multi-world champion, riding beautifully.
He was, and once again he did the damage from the start line, and we're going to see a lot of that this evening. And he was able to get away from gate 4 like Jarek Campbell did, so an excellent ride from Pedersen.
Pedersen, Doyle, Jepsen Jensen and Iversen, the result of heat number 4. The winners so far, Kasperzak, Pedersen, Woffenden and Hampel. 4 heats gone here in Tampere, Finland.
Yeah, smashing ride from Nicky Pedersen, and no surprise to see that. In actual fact, he's been in good form, and we'll see it again. He's renowned for his starting ability, and we see it here in full force. Bike drives brilliantly to the first corner. He comes sweeping across from the outside, and they don't really see which way he goes. Doyle, very good move. Need to make the move early, did so. Gets up the inside of Jepsen Jensen and gets his second place nice and securely early doors. Iversen does pressurise Jepsen Jensen for a period of time, but he'll be frustrated there, Iversen, because he didn't make a very good start and he had the inside gate. But for the Nicky Pedersen crew, they'll be chuffed a bit. Starting with a heat win in your opening ride is lovely as a rider. It always settles the nerves, you know, it's a huge occasion here. And Pedersen knows what it's all about. Super ride from the 3-time champ.
Yeah, good stuff in the opening 4 heats then. Christoph Kasperzak, we can hear from him for the first time tonight down in the pits. Steve Brandon.
Christoph, great start, great ride in heat 2.
Yeah, I know so good from the moment. From gate 2 is really slick, but Mate won't push me and then quickly back and go to forward. I'm very happy if engine is fast, only everything is in my hand.
Do you see the track creating different racing lines?
I know see too much because I know race last year, but boys say it's 1.5 meters into the grass. But it's long, very straight, but corner is very tight, and you must turn, and you need some power here, and track will be tricky. You must be careful on meeting.
Changes to the bikes going to be made?
Maybe we change something. I put now something from the yesterday practice because I'm really fast yesterday, and now I hope so will be better. And we're thinking what's happened. I would like to say hello to all fans from UK and Jonesy.
Thanks for your time. Cheers.
Thanks.
Yeah, good ride from Kasperzak. He's out in heat 7. He comes out of gate 3 and he comes up against Harris Iversen and Timo Lahti. He'll be favourite for that on the evidence of the first 4 heats. But Kasperzak hasn't been in great form, and he'll be buoyed by that opening ride here this evening, considering he had to watch here last year with that nasty injury. Came into this meeting 12 months ago with an 11-point lead in the World Championship. And in actual fact, although he didn't ride, he still went away the championship leader, which was quite remarkable at the end of the evening. But he started well, and he'll be keen to make those adjustments and continue on.
Well, good ride from Christoph Kasperzak, and we can hear from another race winner early on, Ty Woffenden of Great Britain, with Steve Brandon.
The very relaxed Ty Woffenden, but a great ride in heat 1.
Yeah, made a decent start and got over whoever was off 1. I think it was AJ. Yeah, can't complain, dude. You know, a few more of them would be nice. Still need to. It's not jumping as hard as I'd want it to out the gate, so we'll work on that.
Track looks slick but very smooth. How was it riding on it?
Yeah, it was really nice. You know, it was tricky yesterday, but you know, it's looking good today. So yeah, we're all going to race for it. It's good.
Jason Crump always used to say that the only time you need to be in front was the end of the series, but putting down markers and being competitive all the way through, very important.
Yeah, for sure, you know, but, you know, he's 100% right. You see me last year, I had 2 really tough rounds and came back fighting hard and kind of, you know, dropped off a bit as the season went on. So, you know, Jason's exactly right in what he's saying, and, yeah, we'll have to try and see if we can do it.
Gate 3 next, you're going to have the gating gloves on again?
Yeah, for sure. I've still got them on, so we'll give it a crack.
Thanks, Ty.
Thank you.
Yeah, and the way they're riding the track as well, Kelv, let me just ask you this question. I noticed with Nicky Pedersen, he wasn't going full blast into the turn. He was knocking it off and then going wide to create more space for himself.
And that's a good point, Nige, because if you go into the corners too fast here with the length of the straight, you're going to run too wide and leave yourself very vulnerable. And he covers the inside going in and allowing the bike then to drift up the banking and then chop the corner off, square it off and get the speed out again. If you ride like that, then you'll stay out in front. He's got back-to-back heats here. He goes from gate 4 in Heat 4, and he'll go off the inside now for his 5th ride. And as I say, an opportunity to get 6 points in his first 2 rides.
Yep, he's off gate number 1 in heat number 5 in the red helmet colour with Jonsson, Zagar and Greg Hancock. Down in the pits with an update for us. What's happening? Steve Brandon.
Yeah, guys, I'm just walking along behind Nicky Pedersen. He had a big crash in Denmark on Wednesday night, missed his last ride, scored 15 points, 5 race wins, and looked very impressive in his first ride. He's come back in very happy with the setup, not changed a thing, and looking to go out and put another marker down now. So we'll see how he does off gate 1 this time.
Yeah, Pedersen riding in Holsted in Denmark in midweek.
He's got a very competitive race. We've got Jonsson, Zagar and Hancock that he's coming up against. And on the evidence of his opening race, super stuff from Pedersen. He's still going to need to get it. It is going to be one of those nights, if you can get the bike to the first corner, you're going to be able to stretch your legs and pull away. Hancock, I'm sure, would have made 1 or 2 adjustments. Didn't quite have the speed that he would have liked in his opening ride because Jarek Hampel was devastating out in front. But Pedersen, Hancock, I'm sure there could be some fireworks here in Heat 5.
So we prepare for heat number 5 then. The riders just coming through the tunnel area here in the Retina Stadium in Tampere. Interesting that Ty Woffington has given the track the seal of approval. Said it was a little bit tricky yesterday, Kel, but said it rode quite nicely.
Yeah, they've done a lot of work on the track, Nigel, because it dug up quite badly actually going into turn 3, and they've ripped it up and relayed it, put some more moisture in it. And I've got to say, so far it's behaving itself very nicely. And on the interview with Woffington, he was very pleased with it. Change of equipment now, that's interesting. Wants to do it early. As I say, you need power here. And maybe in his first ride he just felt that he just was a little underpowered. As I say, Jarek Hampel was flying away out in front and Greg wasn't able to chase him down whatsoever. So maybe he's making the decision to change his equipment right away. Got 2 points on the board. And it's a very competitive race, I might add, but he is going from the outside gate. We've seen a couple of heat wins from there already. Taking his time, but he's an experienced man, so he's in no rush.
Yeah, Greg Hancock then, the last man to arrive for heat number 5, which is coming up shortly. Heat number 5 it is, then every rider has completed 1 ride so far here in Tampere, Finland tonight. Nicky Pedersen off the inside in the red helmet colour. Andreas Jonsson off gate 2 in blue. Matti Zagar will be bitterly disappointed with his last place in that opening ride. And Greg Hancock going off the outside in yellow from the USA, the reigning world champion, of course.
Yeah.
And, we'll see how heat number 5 pans out. Can Pedersen be beaten? Because he did well from a different gate in his first ride. He's off the inside this time. Hancock going off that outside. Has he got the drive that we've seen gate 4 give?
Well, he is a master of starting, isn't he? He's probably the best starter in the world, and he didn't quite get there in his opening ride, but he'll be hoping for a little bit more of a jump this time. Interesting to see with temporary tracks, quite often the ruts get really deep, and you have to take that chance that the bike doesn't ground out, but at this early stage it should be perfectly okay. Pedersen on the inside, can he go back-to-back wins?
Gate 4 has won 2 of the opening 4 heats. Hancock is the man in yellow off gate 4 here. Now has he got the drive? It's a superstar, but Nicky Pedersen is there. Hancock goes high and wide. It's going to be wheel to wheel down the back straight. Oh, ruthless! Nicky Pedersen took his line well there, held on to it, has got the advantage, and coming through in blue here, passing Greg Hancock is Andreas Jonsson, but no way through for Hancock. Coming out of turn 2, down the back straight, Pedersen closed the door and has got the lead and surely won't be beaten from here.
No, and no surprise, you know, super start from Pedersen. It looked for a moment that Hancock was going to get round the outside, but that's a tough move, and all credit to Jonsson. He was able to strike hard there, because I've got to say that Hancock looks under power because he's coming under pressure from Zagar. The change of bike here is not paying off for him, and he's going to have to ride a little defensively here to hang on. Zagar up the inside. Oh, it's tied for third, but Pedersen out in front. There's a lap to go here, and Andreas Jonsson clearly has got the bike working a lot better because he's fast lost in second.
Yeah, but Nicky Pedersen has done enough here into turns 3 and 4. He's riding this track beautifully, shutting off going into the turn and gliding round the bends here. Tighter bends, longer straights, and Pedersen makes it 2 wins out of 2 here in Tampere. It was ruthless, it was tough, but it was Speedway. Coming out of turn 2, he closed the door on Greg Hancock, and he is a maximum man so far from 2 outings. Nicky Pedersen crashed heavily in midweek, but here he is, unbeaten from 2 rides.
Well, no evidence of the crash holding him back here tonight. 6 points out of 6. Very impressive indeed, and Jonsson was fast there, also in second place.
Yep, 2 points for Jonsson, with Hancock in third. And this is how it stands right now. Nicky Pedersen, 6 points to his name so far. Makes him 9 all told over the 2 Grand Prix events so far, but unbeaten and riding quite beautifully here. And the way he's riding the track, albeit it's easier when you're in the lead, isn't it, Kelvin? But he's got this track nailed, hasn't he?
Yeah, and he's a world-class starter. He's a world-class rider, and he's using those skills to great effect here this evening. He makes a good fist of it. It's tight here. Hancock just momentarily thought he might be able to get around the outside, but coming around the outside of Nicky Pedersen is never an easy move, I can assure you. And there's no way through there, and Pedersen then really does stamp his authority. It unsettles Hancock, as we see it again, because as they go into turns 3 and 4 on the opening lap, all credit to Andreas Jonsson. He's able to pounce here. Hancock just runs in a little too wide there and leaves the opportunity for the Swedish rider to get into second place, and he hangs on for the 2 points. But Pedersen moving on to 6 points. A very impressive start from the 3-time former world champion.
Yeah, absolutely nothing wrong with that move from Pedersen coming out of turn 2. He had the line, and he had allowed no room for manoeuvre, and therefore preserved his lead.
Absolutely, he was in charge there, and he took full charge, and Hancock had time to get out of the throttle, and he had to, but that allowed then Jonsson to pounce, and it did penalise Greg, but I'm sure they'll be scratching their heads, but we've seen that from Hancock before. He'll have a slow start and turn his fortunes around.
So, heat number 6 here. And across the grid, we take a look. It's Michael Jepsen-Jensen off the inside in red, with Matt Sajanovski off gate number 2 in blue. Needs a bit of magic here to coin his nickname. Goes off gate 3 in white, Ty Woofenden, and off the outside in yellow is Troy Batchelor of Australia, no doubt with an eye on the Etihad Stadium, Melbourne, in October, the final round of this year's World Championship. And it's back-to-back, of course. We're in action again next Saturday when we go to Prague at the Marketa Stadium for round 3 of the World Championship.
Just an interesting point about the ruts on the start as we look at Ty Woofenden. He has chosen to go on a fresh part of the starting grid in gate 3, because gate 3 has got a deep rut, and he's concerned about the bike grounding out noise. Even at this early stage, he's elected to go on a new place. Be interested to see how the bike reacts there. They're tight between 1 and 2. There could be some elbow banging there. Here we go.
Yep, here we go indeed. Heat number 6 it is then. Woofenden has made a decent start off gate 3, but Batchelor has done a good one from the outside as well, and it's gone round the outside of Jepsen-Jensen. This will be a test of Woofenden now. Comes through into third ahead of Matt Sajanovski. Troy Batchelor riding beautifully. Here comes Woofenden. He's got a real handful of throttle there, but has lost ground, has gone too wide and allowed Janowski through. Jepsen-Jensen second, Janowski third, Woofenden at the back.
Yeah, and although he made a half-sensible jump, he just got out-battled there with Jepsen-Jensen on the inside, and Batchelor, we see once again, you get a rider in front, they're able to really generate loads of speed and momentum, and Batchelor has just cleared off.
He's long tracking.
He's long tracking. Well, effectively it is, Nigel, isn't it? You don't often get speedway tracks this big, and Batchelor looks really dramatic out in front and enjoying himself. Woofenden out the back, and Jepsen-Jensen hanging on to second place, but impressive speed for Batchelor in front.
I don't know about you, Calvin, but Batchelor's style looks well suited to this track. It's head down and into the turn. It's a beautiful style on this racing surface, that's for sure, and he's going to get a victory. Troy Batchelor looks as though he's slowing up towards the end, but second place was Jepsen-Jensen, third in blue was Janowski, and Ty Woofenden on that occasion at the back. But what a ride from Troy Batchelor. 1 or 2 concerns about his bike towards the end of the race, but a big win for Troy Batchelor of Australia, right to the Swindon Robbins in the UK, and he wins heat number 6.
And he'll be pleased because he's had some injury trouble this season. He said he's been just surviving so far this year with the knocks he's taken, but on the evidence of that ride, he got to the front, and again we're seeing riders, once they get to the front, they can really pull away, and Bachelor was mightily impressive with that style he showed there.
Certainly was. The finishing order, Bachelor, Jensen, Janowski and Woffenden. So Bachelor moves on to 5 points from 2 rides here after 6 heats of this Finnish FIM Speedway Grand Prix here in Tampere, and his style was beautiful there, the way he was gliding into the turn.
And in Australia you ride regularly on bigger tracks.
Good point.
Yeah, and he clearly felt very comfortable on this size of track, and you know, he pulled away nicely. Woffenden just not being able to get out of gate 3 well enough, and although he got into 3rd early on, he runs in hot. That's a clear demonstration there that it's very penal here. If you just run in a little bit wide, you just go too far, and then Janowski was able to come up the inside without having to do very much at all, and the former world champion who won in impressive style in his opening ride. Look at that! Hunched over the handlebars, Bachelor really enjoying himself out in front, but for Woffenden out the back, that will be frustration for him. But yeah, Bachelor, who says he's having a hard time with injuries, 5 points from 2 rides tonight. It's excellent work.
Was it long track style down the straights, Kelvin?
Nearly.
Okay.
Nearly.
You're the expert.
Yes, very nearly, but yes, the way he was hunched over the handlebars there, he felt that that was something that was going to improve his speed. Possibly it did, possibly it didn't, but he was impressive nonetheless.
Yep, here we go with heat number 7 then. This man, Niels Christian Iversen in blue, desperate for points after a 0 return in his opening ride. Here we go with heat number 7 then. Timo Lahti off the inside in red. Gate number 2 is Niels Christian Iversen. Gate 3, Christoph Kasperzak, an impressive winner first time out, and now saying he's made a change to make him even quicker.
Well,
and off the outside is Chris Harris in yellow.
He's hoping so. He's now going to use the new rut that Ty Woffenden made for him, so he'll be grateful for Ty for that. Never easy going off a fresh place because you just don't quite get the same purchase as a rider coming out of a rut. The side of the tyre grips on the rut as well as the bottom of it. Iversen will be looking for a better return here. Disappointing in his opening ride, but Harris on the outside with sim riders there. You know, Pedersen and Hampel have won comfortably from the outside. Can the Brit do the business?
Here we go, heat number 7, Chris de Gardel with his finger on the button. Kasperzak has nailed the start beautifully. Gate number 3, doesn't matter where he is, he was super quick away from the start there. Lahti now battling with Harris down that back straight for second spot. Will Harris be able to do it there? He's just lost control momentarily. That allows Lahti to challenge, but Harris is hanging on by his fingertips to second spot. Lahti is 3rd, Iversen runs out of room, and now he is going to come back for more. Charges up the inside of the finish wildcard, but Kasperzak has got the race under control.
Iversen through into 3rd place now. Timo Lahti replaying the compliment as they come charging into the first corner once again. Iversen winding it on round the outside. Good battle for 3rd place. Out in front, Kasperzak. Super stuff from him. Very impressive in his opening ride, and those tweaks he's made to the setup really playing dividends. He's flying. Good ride from Harris. Hard charging ride from the Brit in 2nd place. Oh, he's out of control. Oh, he's got a little bit of room. Iversen, can he get there? Not quite. Kasperzak's got this one.
Yep, Kasperzak looking superb here. Harris has gone wide, but he's done enough to hold on for second spot. Just got a little bit of an unexpected drive there, Harris, but Kasperzak punches the air. Wonderful ride. He and Nicky Pedersen, the men of the moment, unbeaten, 6 points out of 6 from this 2nd Grand Prix of the series here in Tampere. Looking super quick, and from gate number 3, he just nailed it from the start there.
Absolutely.
In heat number 7. Kasperzak the winner, Harris was 2nd, Iversen 3rd after a hard battle with Timo Lahti. That means that Christoph Kasperzak joins Nicky Pedersen at the top on 6 points apiece. Troy Bachelor 3rd on 5. As I mentioned earlier, Kasperzak and Pedersen don't ride regularly in the UK, haven't had as many meetings, therefore, as a consequence, but looking razor sharp here tonight.
Absolutely, that's spot on, razor sharp indeed. But looking at Harris, he makes a half sensible start, just lifted a little bit too much because that allows Kasperzak, who made a perfect start. If you want to look at somebody making a decent start, then that was all about it. He's out of picture, he's gone. Bit of a scrap here early doors with just a little bit of extra grip going into turn 3, and unsettles Harris early on, but he's able to hang on to 2nd place. Iversen there also grabbing a whole load of grip, and the track down in the bottom corner just a little bit unpredictable now after a few races. We see it there again with Harris getting a bit out of shape, having to hang on with Timo Lahti, making him work a little bit harder than he would have wanted to. But a good ride from Kasperzak, 6 points for him, good stuff, and a nice way to bounce back for Chris Harris there, because he would have been disappointed with his first ride.
Yep, very much so. Good effort from Chris Harris. As we say, got over that unexpected drive and held on for second spot. And an appetising thought, heat 12, Pedersen against Kasperzak. Pedersen off the inside, Kasperzak off the outside.
Yeah, looking forward to
Two unbeaten riders head-to-head in heat number 12 from opposite sides of the starting gate. Here we go with heat 8. Can Hampel join them on two successive wins? Here, Thomas H. Jonassen is the Swede in red off the inside. There's Jason Doyle going off the outside in yellow. A relatively late developer into World Championship Speedway, Jason, but very accomplished all the same. Thomas H. Jonassen off the inside in red. Chris Holder goes off gate 2 in blue. Gate 3 in white is Jarek Hampel with a win under his belt. And Jason Doyle going off the outside in yellow.
Yeah, Jason Doyle is an interesting case. He's late 20s now, and as you rightly say, he's a late bloomer in Speedway terms at this level, but he's had an awful lot of injury problems in his mid-20s that held him back, but he's really been injury-free over the last couple of years and has come on leaps and bounds and fully deserves to be part of the Grand Prix series. Holder in gate 2 looking for points, but Hampel very impressive in his opening ride out of gate 3.
Here we go, heat number 8. After this one, every rider will have completed 2 rides. Good start from Jonassen off 1. Holder's going wide though here. Can Holder get the drivers? Jonassen looks good here, but Holder just sneaks through. And charging up into 3rd is Jason Doyle as well, as he has gone up the inside of Jarek Hampel. That was a good move from Chris Holder. Jonassen is 2nd. Doyle is winding it on here though in yellow. He allows Jonassen to go wide. Doyle's trying the inside, but Jonassen has got the speed. But what a move from Chris Holder early doors.
Yeah, really good move from Chris, because he's been struggling with his confidence this season. He was really charging hard there, but I've got to say now that Thomas H. Jonassen in 2nd place is really winding it on there and is beginning to make a move. You just see how penal it is here this evening when he missed the start, because Hampel, very impressive in his first ride, is out the back and out of the points. But Thomas H. Jonassen, keep your eyes on him. He's working the track really hard. Holder's going to have to hold on out in front.
Yep, Chris Holder then with that lead. I think he's probably done enough now. There was a time there where Jonassen was threatening, but Holder has that lead. He's going mid-track in turns 3 and 4, and he's done enough. Chris Holder, 2012 World Champion, a win under his belt. He'll feel a whole lot better about that now. And we see Jarek Hampel at the back, like Woofenden, a win followed up by a last.
But I would say he went in the deep rut on gate 3 and the bike didn't move forward. I've got an idea it may have just momentarily grounded out, and it really affected his race. He just couldn't get the bike away from the tapes, squeezed in the first corner. Holder, impressive, coming under pressure midway through the race from the Swedish rider Thomas H. Jonassen, but the former world champion. Those are the sort of rides he needs to recapture his form. Good ride from Holder.
Yeah, did all the hard work early on there, didn't he, Chris Holder? Fine ride indeed. And now it means this. The leaders, Kasperzak and Pedersen, on 6 points apiece. Every rider has now completed 2 rides.
Yeah, smashing ride there from Chris Holder. As I say, he's openly admitted he's been struggling with his form, but here we saw some tremendous determination from him. He's coming out of gate 2. Hampel's missed it, squeezed out of the action early doors and just can't land a blow. Thomas H. Jonassen trying to stop that move from Holder, but Holder got the extra little bit of drive, swept round the outside. A little bit tricky going into turn 3 now, may have just rutted up a little bit, where riders are just a little bit tentative there, hanging on to the bike. We see it again, rushing into the first corner, Holder with a throttle wide open, absolutely nails it coming off that corner. Super ride from the Australian to get himself to the front. Jonassen's not weak here, he pushes the former world champion hard. Midway through the race, there's a real tussle for 1st and 2nd. Hampel disappointing after a very impressive opening race, but Holder, he'll be pleased. He failed to score in his first round in Warsaw. He's got points on the board. Yep. 4 points, he'll be pleased.
Yep, big win for Chris Holder on that occasion then. Here in Tampere, every rider has now completed 2 rides here in the Finnish FIM Speedway Grand Prix. Heat 9 coming up in a few moments' time. down in the
A
pits
razem
area
z
then.
nami Chris Holder,
Chris
długo
Holder.
oglądał te powtórki
Our Polish colleagues
i cóż tam
having a chat
wypatrzył,
with the
wyjechał
winner
naprawdę dobrze. You've
of
been
heat
watching
number 8.
your hit, it was really good to watch actually.
That's about it. Nah, it's tough out there. The track's better than yesterday, but into the third corner, still really bad on the inside, but hopefully they can sort that out and it'll be much better.
Tor jest dużo lepszy niż wczoraj na treningu, ale na trzecim skręcie, na tym drugim wirażu cały czas przy krawężniku są bardzo trudne warunki, ale liczę na to, mówi Chris Holder, że tutaj wykonają dobrą pracę i ulepszą ten tor. Jak na razie zgromadził 4 punkty, co myśli, czy odnalazł już tę prędkość, która będzie go prowadzić w kolejnych wyścigach. So far he scored 4. You pick some good speed up, you think you will be much better in the rest of the races?
Yeah, for sure. The first race, early races are tough to do anything, and I probably made too good a start to do something and penalised myself, and then yeah, made a pretty good start there and just got around Thomas and just tried to put 4 decent laps together, and it's tough out there, but got it done and felt pretty good, so we'll see.
Zobaczymy jak będzie, czuję się naprawdę dobrze. Tam kiedy zakładałem Thomasa Jonassona, to rzeczywiście wykonałem dobrą pracę i ją będę chciał kontynuować. Czuję się, to podkreśla Chris Holder, dobrze na tym torze i mam nadzieję, że reszta wyścigów będzie równie dobra. Dziękuję Ci bardzo. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, good ride from Chris Holder, and be interesting to see if he can carry that forward. We've seen 2 standout riders in Pedersen, Nicky Pedersen, of course, riding beautifully on 6 points out of 6, and Christoph Kasperzak. Bachelor's looked good as well, but in other areas we've seen Woofenden 3-0, we've seen Hampel 3-0. Let's get some more reaction from the pits area now with Steve Brandon.
Chris, you've commented in this year so far about confidence. How much are rides like that, starts like that, about rebuilding Chris Holder as a rider?
It helps. No, it's pretty good. The first race was tough, but that race was, you know, I felt pretty quick in the first one. Just first couple of races were difficult, but was better then. Made a good start and had a bit of a go. It's tricky out there, and hopefully they can sort it out. But it feels pretty good, so just keep building on that now.
It looks like a place where you can trip over other riders really quickly.
And trip over yourself too. Just into the corners, right where you don't want it. It's a bit tricky, and you go in really wide to try and make it easier, then someone will do one up the inside and catch you really fast. So you just got to guess, I suppose, and just put 2 good laps in and then just bring it home.
But you with a smile on bikes that are going fast, it's a pretty good combination.
Sort of smiling, but no, it's going good. Feeling pretty sweet. It's just, like I said, it's a tough track. I've got to get over it, and a win like that is always good. So hopefully, you know, 3 more hits to go and get some points and get into that semi.
More to come, keep getting over it.
Thank you.
Yeah, I can sense that he's not completely, you know, confident on the bike. You know, it is a challenge here when you're carrying so much speed and then you grab a rut. The bike can get away from you very quickly, and that has happened to him on many occasions this season. So he's having to dig really deep at the moment.
Michael Jepsen-Jensen, the Dane, is with our man Steve Brandon.
Michael, 3 points after 2 rides. What things are you going to look at changing?
No, we got a few things on the bike. I need to get a bit better off the gates. I'm there, but not like I need to be a meter faster. So it's all right.
It looks to be all about the race, the drag race to the start, to put yourself in a good first corner position. Is that how you're seeing it? How it's reading?
Yeah, it is. Track is really rough actually, and it's a bit narrow as well. So got a gate mate. Just need to pull them gates off.
Now, I've seen the photographs from a mid-corner meeting you had with Nicky Pedersen on Wednesday in Denmark. Are you physically 100%?
No, not really. But I'm okay, mate. Just feel crutches all over the body, but that's the game, isn't it?
Right, 3 more rides tonight, just about gathering points.
5 more rides, mate.
Very good. 5 more rides. We'll see you in the final then. Thanks, Michael.
Perfect.
Nice one.
Great answer.
Well, super, yeah, positive attitude, and he fancies he's going to get to the final, and all credit to him. But we spoke about it earlier about getting the bike set up so you can get to the
Razem
first
z nami
corner.
Michael Jepsen-Jensen, który kolekcjonuje punkty i zaraz dowiemy się, jak czuje się na tym wyjątkowo długim torze. How you feel on this really long track?
Nearly double the distance that you normally encounter.
It's not too bad, you know. It's a bit rough track, but yeah, it's not too bad. Got a gate. Start is really important also because the track is quite narrow, but yeah, that's it.
Czuję się tutaj bardzo dobrze. Oczywiście łuki są rzeczywiście tutaj ostre i specyficzne, ale kiedy wyjedziesz ze startu, co w żużlu jest bardzo ważne, to na pewno te punkty będziesz zdobywał. Tyle Michael Jepsen-Jensen. Dziękuję bardzo.
Dziękuję.
Yeah, Michael Jensen, who is actually a teammate of Nicky Pedersen's in the Swedish league. As the riders come out for heat number 9, it's the third round of heats here in Finland.
Yeah, good-looking race this. We've got Andreas Jonsson coming out, who was much improved in his second ride. He had plenty of speed. And Troy Batchelor, a surprise package for me. He's only dropped 1 point in his opening 2 rides. He goes off the inside here. He'll be keen to build on his good start. Doyle alongside him in gate 2, who certainly shows some decent speed. So, yeah, we're getting to the heart of the meeting now, where riders really want to... They should now beginning to really get a feel for conditions, and bike setup should be improving, and the confidence should be rising. So, yeah, competitive speedway ahead here. And then 2 Aussies on the inside, Nigel. I expect some tough stuff from them going to the first corner. Interesting race coming up here for sure.
Here we go with heat number 9. Troy Batchelor has dropped just 1 point so far. He's off the inside in red. A battle of 2 Australians off the inside 2 gates, with Jason Doyle off gate 2 in blue. Andreas Jonsson goes off gate 3 in white, and Timo Lahti, the wild card who rode in the UK for the Eastbourne Eagles during their Elite League days. Timo Lahti. This is Andreas Jonsson in the white helmet colour, who's been carrying that knee ligament injury. But Lahti, to be fair, struggled early on with Eastbourne. They could have easily dropped him, but to credit the Eastbourne management, they persevered with Timo Lahti, gave him a chance and helped him develop as a rider.
Surprised he hasn't got a place, in actual fact, in the UK. He did a half-sensible job. Interesting race this. Batchelor only dropped a point, he's off the inside.
Yep, here we go then, heat number 9, and Batchelor has made a good one. It's all very tight there. Oh, Doyle gets the drop, and I thought that was going to end in carnage as Batchelor has gone to the back. Doyle has the lead. Second place is Andreas Jonsson. Timo Lahti is third, and Troy Batchelor has been relegated to the back there. Jason Doyle is made of stern stuff, and he really had a go in that first turn.
Did he? He really did go for it, and it paid big dividends because he's got himself to the front. Once again, we're seeing if you get squeezed out in the first corner, it's going to be really difficult to land a blow. Batchelor at the back, only dropping a point, and hugely impressive in his previous ride. Not really threatening the points here. Doyle out in front, he'll be enjoying this. Jonsson steady tonight. Not winning races, but in the points, Nige.
Our Australian viewers in the early hours of the morning will be enjoying this, that's for sure. Jason Doyle, who first emerged in the World Cup a couple of years ago in Chesterhover, riding for Australia, and did a terrific job. And now on his way here in heat number 9, looking superb, with Jonsson having a big blast around the outside, but Doyle has gone wide, and Doyle has done enough. It was a great effort by Jonsson, to be fair, but Doyle read it superbly, and Jason Doyle has picked up a victory there in heat number 9. Remember his debut Grand Prix season, a blow for Batchelor, 5 points from 2 rides, and then ran a last, but it looked as though he'd made such a good start in heat number 9.
Yeah, tough first corner for Batchelor. He came off second best there, and after, you know, having a really strong couple of rides, fails to score. But Doyle was really impressive there.
Jonsson second, Lahti third. Batchelor that time relegated to the back. It's tough, the first turn. I think all the riders are aware of just how vital it is, Kelvin.
Dead right.
It's very, very uncompromising in the early stages.
You've got to make the move early, because once the race settles down, unless riders make mistakes, it's going to be extremely difficult to overtake. But Jason Doyle, first full season as a Grand Prix rider, and as you rightly say, burst on the scene a couple of years ago in the World Cup, and really has had a steep incline in ability. Really has been terrific. Charges away from gate 2 here, gets himself there, with Batchelor just getting himself in a problem, and loses momentum and gets shoved out of the way by Timo Lahti as they go down the back straight on the opening lap. See it again. Batchelor makes a good fist of it, but there's a little bit of elbows there, and he just gets clamped on the inside and just unsettles him and loses all his momentum and gets beaten up, and he'll be frustrated as they come out of there. Jonsson, who's having a steady night, coming back from a really nasty knee injury, and they did well just to turn up in Warsaw a month ago, but he's been solid so far, scoring in every outing. But Batchelor wins his first race on the night.
Doyle.
So, excuse me, Doyle, and he moves on to, yeah, both Australian, but Jason Doyle, close, but not close enough. 6 points, I was just about to say 6 points. if I get his name right, Jason Doyle. He's looking good, and 5 points there. Look, 2 second places, and he looks threatening, Jonsson, I've got to say. He looks like he's got speed.
If he keeps doing that, he doesn't have to win a race. He'll be in the semi-finals,
exactly.
Jonsson. And Doyle, in his first Grand Prix campaign, to have 6 points from 3 rides now, probably only needs another couple, and he'll be in his first semi-final.
Yeah, good stuff, really good stuff. And as I say, he's not a youngster. He's been around a while, and he doesn't look like he's overawed by the occasion. So, yeah, all credit to him.
He's a strong character, Jason Doyle, that's for sure. As we build up here to heat number 10, Ty Woffenden is going off the outside in the yellow helmet colour, rides for Wrocław in Poland, scored a 15-point maximum last Sunday, and rides for Vetlanda in the Swedish League on a Tuesday night as well. Jari Campbell off the inside in red here, and Matti Zegar, winner in Tampere a year ago, but has yet to score from 2 rides. Niels Christian Iversen off gate 3 in white has found it tough tonight.
Yeah.
And off the outside in yellow is Woffenden.
Well, to be honest, all 4 riders have had a difficult time in their previous rides. Hampel won a race and then failed to score. Woffenden did exactly the same. We're hearing that Woffenden may have changed his equipment, so the spare bikes come out. They'll be keeping their fingers crossed that's the right move. Iversen's been struggling so far, and Zegar hasn't been amongst the points at all, so a lot of pressure on the 2 boys in the gates 2 and 3.
Here we go. This is heat number 10, and away from the start, it's Iversen off 3. Woffenden has gone wide and clamped them down in that first turn from the outside gate and has got the lead, and look how he's built up some momentum down that back straight. Second place is Iversen, third place in blue here is Zegar, and Jari Campbell again is at the back this time, but Ty Woffenden kicking on, looking fast, although Iversen will try and hunt him down for sure.
Well, he got a bit of extra drive and ran very wide on the opening lap coming off turn 4 and was looking over his shoulder because he was concerned about Iversen coming at him. Hampel, nervous down the back straight, shuts the throttle early, allowing Zegar to come into 3rd place. Woffenden on his second bike looks good now. Bouncing back nicely. This will be his 2nd win on the night to move to 6 points if he can hang on out in front. Iversen better, much better from him in 2nd place. But I've got to say, Hampel, after a devastating win in his opening ride, is tailed off out the back, and that's tough for him.
Certainly is. Woffenden then looking good here in the yellow helmet colour. He's on his way to his 63rd Grand Prix heat win of his career. Fine ride from Ty Woffenden. This is his 37th GP now. Woffenden, world champion a couple of years ago, and serious ambitions to do it all over again. 2 wins out of 3 rides. The second ride was a last place for him. A vital couple of points for Niels Christian Iversen, and Matti Zegar is off the mark with a single to coin a cricketing phase. But 1 point from 3 rides, he's up against it to reach the semi-finals, Matti Zegar.
Very poor start for him. He's a quality rider. He's a lot better than that. But Woffenden coming back with a fine win there. Super from the outside.
Woffenden, Iversen, Zegar and Hampel. And what about Jari Campbell looking super quick in his opening ride, but squeezed out again. Woffenden rockets up to 6 points with Doyle, but Kasper Zak and Pedersen also on 6 have got a race in hand. But a good ride all the same from Ty Woffenden.
Yeah, Hampel there down the back straight was nervous and shuts the throttle early, and that allowed Zegar into 3rd place. And Hampel, after winning well, has failed to score in his last 2 rides. This man, very different, showed a lot of character there. Gate 4, winds it on, tapes her up, and the bike drives forward. He comes sweeping across from the outside, as we've seen several riders do that. Look at Hampel here as they go down the back straight here. Zegar on the outside shuts the throttle very early there, and that allows the Slovenian to get into 3rd place. Possibly worried about the ruts that are appearing coming into turn 3, but just didn't show the confidence I was expecting. But Iversen chasing hard in 2nd place. He'll be better pleased with that, with the 2 points. But Woffenden moving on to 6. He'll be pleased with that, giving himself a good chance of the semis.
I know it's early days, but Ty Woffenden is now the leader of the World Championship. 10 heats of the 2nd round gone.
Good shout.
And yep, it is round 2 of 12. Long way to go. So don't read too much into that, but just an interesting piece of trivia that he's now top of the World Championship.
Yeah, nice one, Nige. It was, it will flip-flop, won't it? And it will be interesting to see who comes out on top in the world at the end of tonight. It's going to be tough. You've got to have your trapping hand on here. You've got to look in that toolbox and find a few starts here this evening, because if you're not, you're going to find it. We've seen the evidence of it already. If you're not in the thick of it going through that first corner, it's going to be tough.
Chris Holder off the inside, Greg Hancock off 2, 2 world champions head-to-head off the inside 2 gates. Chris Harris off gate 3 in white, determined character, proud to be in the GP again this year after qualifying. Michael Jepsen-Jensen off the outside in yellow. With Harris in white, it's almost like he loves putting one in the eye of the critics. He loves having a pop back and proving people wrong, and that's a true British Bulldog spirit.
It is, and I sincerely hope he can. At times he has a really tough time, and you feel for him a bit because he can go through periods of time where he doesn't make the semi-finals, but he started well a month ago, and let's hope he can keep going. He had a good second place last time.
Yeah, he won the British semi-final in Sheffield recently and right in the British final at Wolverhampton in June. Now away from the start, Hancock off gate number 2, that's a trademark. Hancock start there, picked up some drive, and now here comes Jepsen-Jensen around the outside. Harris now charges up the inside of Holder into 3rd place. Greg Hancock, though, has that lead. Oh, he's almost lost it completely there. Greg Hancock, but hangs on to the bike. Jepsen-Jensen 2nd, Chris Harris is 3rd.
Yeah, track's quite demanding. Suddenly we're seeing a few ruts appear and the boys are going to have to hang on. Holder looked a bit circumspect. Got to say Harris was able to get himself into 3rd place. Good tussle between Jepsen-Jensen in 2nd place. Hancock, as you rightly say, his trademark start over the front of the bike, the classic style, really working the bike nicely. Still tough out there. Holder's detached, but the world champion's out in front in the green suit, looking like he's going to pick up his first win, Nige.
Yep. Greg Hancock riding in green, the colours of his first ever professional speedway club, the Cradley Heathens, back in 1989. Down that back straight he goes, into turns 3 and 4 we go.
Had to get that in.
Had to get that in. 26 years ago, unbelievable. Here he goes, Greg Hancock, blue helmet, takes the checkered flag from Michael Jepsen-Jensen, and Chris Harris in 3rd, with Chris Holder trailing in at the back. But Greg Hancock, a much welcome victory for Herbie Hancock, puts him on to 6 points now from 3 rides, and he'll settle for that, no doubt.
Yes, he will, because he didn't have the speed in his first couple of rides, and clearly they've had some head scratching in the pits, and they've come up with the answers because the team worked well there. That would have been a good lot of chat before that ride, and suddenly the bike roared away from the tapes. Impressive in front.
Hancock, Jepsen-Jensen, Harris and Holder. That puts Greg on to 6 points now on the night. A whole clutch of riders on 6. And coming up in the next race, a showdown between the top 2 on the night. Kasperzak and Pedersen unbeaten so far.
Something's got to give there. But the man in green here this evening looking better. Maybe it could be lucky green for him this evening. Out of gate 2, the bike digs in and roars to the first corner. Jepsen-Jensen puts him under pressure, and as they come out of turn 4 on the opening lap, there's no question that Hancock bike nearly gets away from him there, just straightening up, pulls a locker and a little bit out of shape, and momentarily was vulnerable from the boy in 2nd place. Chris Harris, you were talking about his bulldog spirit. He seems to he's like a sponge, Harris. He just literally soaks up all the pressure and just comes back, keeps coming back time after time. Hancock out in front, a little bit out of shape on the opening lap, but regains his composure and picks up his first win on the night. Good stuff.
Yep, brilliant stuff there. Quick question, Kelvin.
Yes, Nigel.
Greg Hancock is 45 next month. Could he be riding in the Grand Prix at the age of 50?
Wow, there's a question. 5 years is a long time in Speedway. I think he would like to. I see that this, he still has a tremendous enthusiasm for it. Injury, of course, is something he would have to avoid. But he is a remarkable man, so I can't say that he won't. But I think it's unlikely.
Okay, here we go. Heat number 12 after this race. Every rider will have completed 3 rides of this Finnish FIM Speedway Grand Prix, and we see riders here off the inside and the outside who are unbeaten so far. Nicky Pedersen off the inside in red. Gate number 2 in blue is Thomas H. Jonassen of Sweden. Matsej Janowski in his first full season of Grand Prix Speedway. He goes off gate number 3 in white, and Christoph Kasperzak is a man off the outside in yellow, also unbeaten.
Yeah, good tussle this. Both riders very impressive so far, Pedersen and Kasperzak, and something I'll have to give. Pedersen is fired up, full of confidence. Janowski, he's had a hard season, had injuries, and he's better than this. He needs points coming out of gate 3, but yeah, gates 1 and 4, plenty of potential there.
Well, Janowski's made a decent one, but his front wheel is in the air. Pedersen is there, but Kasperzak swoops across from the outside, and now Janowski charges hard now down the back straight, wheel to wheel with Nicky Pedersen. This will be interesting into turns 3 and 4. Pedersen now has been passed by Janowski, but Pedersen around the outside. There's hardly any room there, and he comes through into second.
Well, at 37 years of age, he hasn't lost any of his tenacity whatsoever, Nigel. Forces his way back into second place, all credit to him, because Janowski put him under a lot of pressure. Fabulous start from Kasperzak, clear going into the first corner, winding it all down in front. The two unbeaten riders in first and second here. Pedersen riding out of his skin to get into second place. Super move from him, but Kasperzak with just over a lap to go, looking like he could remain unbeaten here this evening.
He missed this meeting last year with knee ligament injury, sat on the first turn and watched.
Jonasson.
Yep, Jonassen's gone down. We are into the last lap, and Jonasson has stayed down. Let's hope he's going to be okay. The referee, Krista Gardell, is not putting the red lights on.
Yes,
He'll allow the race. Yep. Sure, the race will stand at that now. And,
yeah, nasty fall.
Still down.
Jonasson may well be winded there. You're going so fast at the end of the straight, and he bounced against the track. Just caught it out of my peripheral vision there as he went down. What a ride from Nicky Pedersen. Just shows you how determined he is. Very professionally, well-prepared man. Comes to the races, prepared to give everything. And it was demonstrated in fine style there by getting the better of Janowski. And, but
a bit of concern about
so far.
Bit of concern about the red light coming on late there. I think that's what Nicky is talking to Phil Morris about. Anyway, it's Christoph Kasperzak unbeaten on 9 points out of 9. Nicky Pedersen second in with 8 points. The race awarded there as the red lights came on before the checkered flag. But I think Nicky Pedersen just a bit concerned about the late nature of the red lights there. Jonasson's still down. We'll update you on him as soon as we can. We wish him well, but 12 heats gone, and we'll be back with heat 13 very soon.
Yeah, great stuff from Kasperzak. That was a fabulous start. He was so clear. No wonder he's got a broad smile on his face. Look at this. Charges out of gate 4. Brilliant. Janowski lifting a little bit, and Pedersen coming into second place. Janowski then chopping back, gets his wheels in line early, makes a long back straight, gets the better of Pedersen. But look at Pedersen. Just wasn't going to allow himself to be relegated to third place for very long. As they go into the second lap, gets the better of the Polish rider and swoops back round the outside. Best pass of the night, no question of that. And then sets about KK out in front. Thomas H. Jonasson then getting it wrong there. And the back of the bike just slipping away from him, and he bounced against the track. But Christoph Kasperzak, I've got to say, this is a terrific performance from the Polish rider so far.
Well, let's hope that Thomas is going to be okay. He's obviously in quite a bit of discomfort, and we hope that this treatment is just precautionary, of course. KK, 9 points out of 9, and...
well, he's in the semi-finals already, isn't he, really? And as I say, I've looked at some of his scores in Poland, and they haven't been very impressive. So quite clearly, they've got a setup that's working here this evening. Thomas H. Jonasson in some discomfort there, really is. Hope he's okay. He's being attended to. He's up, but as I say, you are carrying a lot of speed here, so when you come off the bike, it's going to be awkward. And it looks like he's getting a little bit freer there. A round of applause for him to getting up, and he's gingerly making his way off the track. But tough luck there for the Swedish rider.
Good to see that he's walking back, though. That's the most important thing. No lasting damage done. So we've had 12 heats here in Tampere. Greg Hancock, well, what a fine ride last time out for Herbie. No doubt he's got a big grin all over his face. Here's Steve Brandon.
Nigel Pearson, he has got a big grin. Nigel's very impressed you wearing green tonight, Greg, but we'll get back to that in a minute. But for you, first bike, second bike, back to the first bike again.
Yeah, that's right. It's just one of them nights. We had a little bit of a clutch problem going into the start of the second heat there, and I had to jump back onto my second bike. And but we fixed everything now. Back on the first one's definitely working better, as I saw in the last one.
A little moment going into the third corner on the first lap of that race?
I think I had a moment on about every lap and every corner, but that's okay. It keeps me on my toes.
And just talk me through the colour schemes. It's going to change throughout the rounds this year?
Well, there's a good chance it will. You know, we've had a pretty interesting new concept to sponsors that want to get involved and sponsor each individual event. And you know, the idea is to get their company colors and the best branding. So it's been working pretty good so far. I'm grateful for AgroFilm for this one.
Has the track changed a lot since the first ride? Have you noticed things you're going to have to do to the bike?
You know, it's changed, and he's making small adjustments to the bike, but I think the track conditions are more to play with than anything. You know, you're trying to keep an eye on that and just get the bike slightly aggressive, but not too aggressive, because you don't want to play with that stuff.
Putting it in the right place all the time. Get back to thinking. Cheers.
You got it.
Yeah, good ride there from Greg, showing a lot of experience and, you know, swapping bikes, but getting back on the right bike at the right time. Fingers crossed for this young man. Hard fall there. Just got it wrong coming into the first corner. Pete Adams there, who works along Ty Wifferden, making sure he's okay.
Yeah, good stuff. We wish him well. And Jason Doyle, no doubt enjoying his GP tonight. Riding well. He's with Steve.
Jason Doyle, 3 rides, 6 points, but a great win to finish off the first half of the meeting.
Yeah, if I can keep going like that, it's just tally the points up and hopefully make the semis. Got to make some good starts. There's some nice little holes coming along now, and you can either use them or try to go around them, so we'll see what happens.
Do you have to develop a little bit more of a ruthless streak to be a competitive Grand Prix rider?
Yeah, it's a lot tougher. I think first corners like the last one, it's a bit of argy-bargy, but yeah, you got to make every start count, and hopefully I can keep up with the big boys.
Inside and outside to finish, are you going to have to make changes to compensate for that each time?
At the moment, Gate 1's it's not as good as Gate 4, so we'll see. We're set up a little bit different, but hopefully I can get a good run out of the corner.
Thanks for your time, Jason.
Thank you.
Yeah, interesting with the starting positions now. Looking down on the start line, the ruts on the start are getting quite deep, and it will be that will influence how you get away from the tapes. But he's got Gate 4, and that may well be enough for him to secure his.
Razem z nami Jason Doyle. Króciutkie jedno pytanie, jak czuje się, bo z biegu na bieg się rozkręca. How are you feeling on this long track? Hit by hit is better.
Yeah, definitely. Get the nerves out of the way. It was a bit second Grand Prix in, and the nerves are still there. But yeah, I'm just counting the points up and trying to make the semi.
Nerwy zostawiłem z boku, dopiero jadę drugie Grand Prix i rzeczywiście te uczucia, te nerwowe uczucia zawsze były dookoła mnie, teraz to odstawiłem i moim celem są półfinały. Tyle. Jason Doyle, dziękuję Ci bardzo, thank you.
Cheers, mate, thank you.
Yeah, good stuff from Jason Doyle, riding well tonight in his debut Grand Prix campaign. We're just taking the long break here because after 12 heats in a Speedway Grand Prix, we do take grading breaks. Bigger crowd in the main stand here, I'm delighted to say, because fairly sparse down the back straight here in Tampere, but quite a few spread across the main stand here. A few have disappeared down to the catering outlets during the interval here. But yeah, we move on to Prague next Saturday in the Marketa Stadium, which was the home of the great World Cup campaign a couple of years ago, of course. One man who's riding brilliantly tonight is the ultra-professional Nicky Pedersen, and he is with Steve Brandon.
Nicky Pedersen, 3 rides gone, 8 points. A very professional performance so far.
Yeah, I seem to make good starts. The last one here, I digged a bit too deep in my start, and I couldn't get the bike forwards, but still managed, you know, to get there. I think the last 2 heats from Gate 1, they got 0 points, so I'm hanging in there.
Tonight, when you've got those difficult gates, you just have to put yourself in the best position you can, and maybe sometimes going for the win isn't what you have to do.
Yeah, correctly. You know, I knew Kasperzak probably was going to be good out there. He got good points as well, but I still believed I could take him. But as I said, I got stuck a little bit in the rut. But I feel confident. We made a bit modified the bike. We're going back again. It wasn't good, but track starts getting really, really difficult at the moment.
It would appear to be going into turn 3, the worst part of the track. You've got to really put the bike in the right place going in there.
Yeah, turn 3 and turn 1, you know, that's both ends, you know. It's hopefully in this break now they can keep packet, you know. It's too much loose material, you know, for Speedway, but hopefully they can fix it instead of this circus.
But for you, blue and white in the middle of the track for the last 2 starts, you've just got to build the points again.
Yeah, we need to talk about the start positions, but as I said, you know, I feel pretty good out there. I do my very best, you know. So far, my best is good enough.
Thanks, Nicky. Cheers, mate.
Yeah, looking sharp, Nicky Pedersen, that's for sure, with his 8 points out of a possible 9 after struggling in Warsaw with 3. and the tricky conditions that were there, of course, in the Stadion Narodowy. But here we move on to heat number 13 in a few moments. The track staff have been out there packing the racing surface.
We'll just breaking up a little bit, wasn't it? And Kasperzak's got back-to-back heats, although there is a break between, so he should be well and truly ready to go for his fourth ride. He's already up on his bike there. We can see him ready to go, so he's raring to go.
Well, in the build-up to heat 13, what's the latest from the pits? Here's Steve Brandon.
Yeah, thanks, Nigel. We've got Christoph Kasperzak tonight. Obviously, max points so far, 9 points, and he's ready to raring to go. But interestingly, heat 13 tonight, it's going to pit guys with different fortunes. Jarek Hampel's just arrived, but all of these guys have won Grand Prix in the past. We've got Andreas Jonsson yet to come up, and Michael Jepsen-Jensen again. It just, you can feel the tension starting to build now. Guys are making decisions about machinery. Kelvin, you've ridden in the past. What sort of things are these guys thinking about now if they haven't performed so far?
Well, it's a difficult one with Hampel because he was so impressive first time out and then subsequently has failed to score. So he's somehow got to hit the front. He doesn't feel comfortable coming through the traffic, Steve. So, you know, Jepsen-Jensen, and we've had it all the time. Starting is really, really important here this evening.
Yeah, and we're just looking at Michael Jepsen-Jensen come up now. No race wins tonight, but 5 fairly solid points. I think he is suffering a little bit from the crash with Nicky on Wednesday. Andreas Jonsson doesn't appear to be suffering too much with a knee injury, and we'll see what happens in this one. Thanks, guys.
That's the latest from the pits with Steve Brandon, and we move on to heat number 13. Here we see Michael Jepsen-Jensen. Collided with Nicky Pedersen in Denmark on Wednesday.
I think he's okay. He seems keen to go, and he's solid. He's picking up points. As I say, the vulnerable rider here is Hampel. You know, he looks so good in his first ride, and then subsequently, particularly the last one, he went down the back straight and shut the throttle off and allowed Zagar to come through. So I think for him, if he doesn't hit the front, he might not be that confident about really getting stuck in. Kasperzak unbeaten on the inside. He's looking great. And Jonsson and Jepsen-Jensen doing solid work. So I've got to say that Hampel needs points here, and he's under a lot of pressure because, you know, he's only got a couple of rides left.
Heat number 13 coming up here in Tampere. Can anybody beat Christoph Kasperzak, who is going off the inside gate here in heat 13? Here we go with heat number 13, the maximum man, Christoph Kasperzak going off the inside in red. Jarek Hampel goes off gate number 2 in blue, the pole. Michael Jepsen-Jensen gate 3 in white. Andreas Jonsson off the outside in yellow. Tampere, the second successive year that we've been here at the Retina Stadium. Finland not a renowned speedway nation, of course. They've only ever had one full-time Grand Prix rider. That was Kai Laukkanen, who rode in the UK for Long Eaton and Bellevue. And he was a full-time Grand Prix rider in 2004. So Finland not the biggest of speedway nations, that's for sure. No, as we build up to heat 13.
Big race for Jarek Hampel here now. He started so well earlier this evening with a brilliant win, and then subsequently has failed to score. As you rightly say, Kasperzak has been fabulous form so far, unbeaten. Good work coming from Andreas Jonsson after a nasty knee injury, and also Jepsen-Jensen suffering, who's been in the wars this week with an incident with Nicky Pedersen midweek in Denmark. But as I say, Hampel, a former world number 2, struggled a bit last year at times as well and turned his fortunes around with a devastating performance late on in the Grand Prix series. He needs to hit the front because he hasn't shown great confidence when he's been behind.
Here we go, heat number 13. Can anybody get the better of the man off the inside, Christoph Kasperzak? Hampel with an electrifying start from gate number 2. Jepsen-Jensen is there and Kasperzak's at the back. Can you believe it here? The lead is with Jarek Hampel. Jepsen-Jensen is second, Andreas Jonsson third, and Christoph Kasperzak is well and truly at the back now. This is so inconsistent with Hampel running 2 last places and then making the start of his life.
Yeah, what a start from Jarek Hampel. I was talking about that just before the race. He needs to make a start, and by golly, he must have heard me because he rocketed away from the tapes. and he looks impressive, as he did when he won his opening ride earlier this evening. Jepsen Jensen riding nicely, Jonsson in third, and Kasperzak struggling. Just shows you how important it is. An unbeaten rider there struggling out the back may have an issue with the bike. Good stuff from Hampel, Nigel. Great way to bounce back, because he looked like he was really struggling in his last one.
Yeah, well, how can you predict Speedway? How can you, on a track like this, the shape of it, how can you confidently predict a result? Kasperzak unbeatable, 9 out of 9, and now has been well and truly beaten here in Heat 13. Hampel, Jepsen Jensen and Andreas Jonsson, well, unbelievable stuff here. He missed the start completely, and absolutely, what a turnaround. And we are seeing some unpredictable results here in the Retina Stadium tonight.
You said to me you're going to retire from predicting Speedway nights, so
I have done.
You have done.
You haven't heard any predictions from me.
Well done. Brilliant stuff from Jarek Hampel there. What a way to bounce back after 2 poor rides. Very important 3 points for him.
Yep, Hampel still now, because of that win, in with a shout of a semi-final spot, because it puts him onto 6 points. Michael Jepsen Jensen riding tidily, 7 points, and within touching distance of a semi-final. 3 straight second places for Michael Jepsen Jensen.
Good work from him, and got to say that he's in a good position with a ride to go to get in the semi-finals, as is this man. What a start out of gate 2. Bike fantastic. That second drive, the initial jump wasn't fabulous, but then the bike dug in and dragged him to the first corner. That's a fabulous feeling for the rider. Winding it on out in front. Jepsen Jensen a little bit out of shape. There's a rut there on the inside here. He covers the mood from Jonsson. Just thought for a moment that actually Andreas Jonsson was going to get the better of Jepsen Jensen, but all credit to the Danish rider in second place. He recovers and hangs on to the 2 points, and another solid ride from him. But that's good stuff from Hampel, showing a lot of class there. Nice.
Yeah, super ride as we move on to Heat 14, and we see Jarek Hampel first of all, 6 points from 4 rides, but inconsistent, and that's what I mean by how do you predict Speedway? Impossible to predict here in the Retina Stadium.
Got the logo right there now, hasn't he?
He did in the end. Heat 14, here we come, and it's a rematch here between Woffinen and Pedersen after their run-off in Torren last year for a bronze medal in the World Championship. Yep. Pedersen prevailed, won that, with Woffinen having to settle for 4th in the world. And this is a tasty lineup indeed. 3 world champions and the wild card in this heat, number 14. Let's take a look across the grid. It's Ty Woffinen, the 2013 world champion, off the inside in red. Nicky Pedersen, 3 times world champion, off gate 2 in blue. Chris Holder, 2012 world champion, off gate 3 in white. And the Finnish wildcard, Timo Lahti, going off the outside in yellow.
Good race for Timo Lahti to win.
Would be, wouldn't it? It's one for the CV.
He won't forget that one in a hurry, that's for certain. He's going to have to come up with something a bit special, though, because there's a touch of quality on the inside 3 gates. This is a tasty lineup. Here we go.
Yep, heat number 14 here of the Finnish FIM Speedway Grand Prix, and Woffingen off the inside gate. That is a beauty. Pedersen's gone wide, and that allows Holder up the inside, and now Pedersen is struggling, but now he's got some speed off turn 2, and he charges up the inside of Chris Holder. Get out of the way! I'm coming through. Holder's coming back for more! What a race for second. Woffingen has the lead, but Holder and Pedersen are throwing the bike at each other and hitting the occasional rut along the way.
Yeah, that was a tough opening lap, and Holder showing a lot of commitment there. Going into turn 3, it's tricky. Woffingen, a fabulous start from the outside. He's cleared off with the battling going on behind him. Holder hanging on for second place now. Good stuff from the former world champion in second place. Pedersen now settles in third, and Timo Lahti doesn't look like he's going to have a sensational win. He's out the back, but Woffingen, after that last place in his second ride, looking like he's going to move on to 9 points, and that'll be his 3rd win on the night. Impressive.
Yeah, and that'll do it for a semi-final spot as well. Ty Woffingen of Great Britain into turns 3 and 4, riding beautifully in control and made a super start. Chris Holder wins the battle for second spot there. That was tough at times. Nicky Pedersen was 3rd in blue, and Timo Lahti at the back on that occasion. There are some British fans in the stadium tonight, delighted with that result for Ty Woffingen, who's going the fast way back to the pits area, but that's 3 wins from 4 rides, and Chris Holder going back the quick way as well. There's actually a few cables out there. Be careful, boys.
What a ride, though, from Woffingen out in front. Super.
Yeah, it was. Woffenden, Holder, Pedersen and Lahti, the finishing order. And it means that Woffenden now moves on to 9 points from 4 rides, level with Kasperzak and Pedersen, all on 9 points apiece, and all safely through to the semi-finals as Woffenden speaks to Jacko, his Polish mechanic there. No wonder there's a smile
all
on
around.
his face. Yeah.
Smiles all around, and this is why. It was a terrific start from the inside. Not easy there. There's a lot of ruts there, but he makes them work into the first corner. Then the action gets going here. Probably the race of the night between Pedersen and Holder. Pedersen comes roaring up the inside. Their forces Holder wide, but Holder then regroups brilliantly and then charges back up the inside, replays the complement supremely well. Look at Pedersen. Pedersen with his hunch over the handlebars, allowing the bike to charge in here. Holder running in the middle of the track, switches back to the inside, wheels in line, and just charges back into second place. That was super stuff from Holder. No lack of confidence there. Real determination.
He meant that, didn't he?
He did indeed. It's a sort of move that Pedersen prides himself on, that's for sure. But Woffenden, after one poor ride tonight, is unbeaten. And the Union Jacks there are being proudly waved. And as I say, 9 points into the semis already.
And Holder's given himself a fighting chance as well of the semi-finals. Would have preferred a race win there.
Don't understand the thumbs down. That was an excellent ride, Chris, and with a ride to go, you've got a good chance of the semis.
So, heat number 15, here we see Mati Zegar of Slovenia. This man is Chris Harris off gate 2 in blue, all about the starts. And Harris right now on 3 points needs at least a second place here to maintain his interest in the race for a semi-final place, you feel?
Dead right, and Doyle will be a danger on the inside because he won last time out and is on 6 points. Harris needs points. Zegar, disappointing, really disappointing. He's been up and down this year. Some of his performances in the UK have been below par. Had some mechanical issues, I believe, but was supremely impressive in Warsaw a month ago. But he won here 12 months ago, so he has very fond memories. He needs a big start.
It's Doyle, it's Harris, it's Janowski, it's Zegar. That's your lineup across the grid here in heat number 15 in Tampere. Harris is the man in blue, Janowski in white, green light on and they're away. And Doyle's made a good start from the inside gate now. Harris will try to chop up the inside. Here comes Zegar around the outside. What a move from Mati Zegar. Super swoop around the outside. Jason Doyle is second and Harris catches a little bit out of shape there and almost collects the back wheel of Jason Doyle. And now Janowski coming through on the inside of Harris, but Harris hanging on is for third place down that back straight, wheel to wheel, down the back straight. This is for third place and just a point.
Yeah, Harris really showing a lot of tenacity there. Janowski and Harris glued together. Harris now finally getting himself into third place. Awfully tight racing. What a first corner from Zegar. Out of nowhere, showing a lot more speed. Very impressive out in front. Doyle, this will do him nicely, moving on to 8 points, just about into the semi-finals. But Zegar showing the sort of form we expect from him.
Yeah, this is the form that he used to win here last year, albeit it took a mistake from Woffenden in the final to allow him through, but he's carved up the opposition here in heat number 15. Mati Zegar with a much-needed victory there. And second place going to Jason Doyle, as Kelvin says. That'll do him nicely because he moves on to 8 points, Jason Doyle, and that will give him a great chance of a semi-final spot. But Mati Zegar with his first win of the evening. Is it too little too late for a semi-final place?
Possibly. The maximum of 7 points he can get with a win in his last one. But on the evidence of that ride, you can't understand why he only had a point going into it. It was a terrific ride.
Yep, Zegar the winner, Doyle second, Harris was third, and Janowski at the back on that occasion. It's a miserable night for Mati Janowski tonight. He's struggling quite badly. Zegar moving on to 4. And we see there Jason Doyle on 8 points. And he's got a race win to his name as well, Jason Doyle, which stands you in good stead.
Indeed
if
it
the
does.
countback's needed as well.
Indeed it does. And Zegar here battling for his life because it's been a disappointing evening so far. Got to say, Doyle made a good start. Harris up the inside, but look at the speed generated there. Beautiful style from Zegar, who sweeps around the outside. The team are chuffed, really chuffed. It's been a tough night so far. Hasn't been amongst the points, but There we just see Harris getting a little bit of extra grip, and he's using all that strength of his forearms to hang on to the bike. Real tussle between Janowski and Harris, who just would not be denied, and he grabs that third place with Janowski finally pulling up at the end of the race. But Zagar can't believe it. He probably thinks, crikey, why on earth did we not get the bike sorted out earlier on?
We have a change here in heat number 16. Nika Luna, the Finnish reserve, is coming in for Thomas H. Jonasson. So obviously Thomas H. Jonasson feeling the effects of that crash, but Nika Luna, who is well known to Scunthorpe fans in the UK, and looking for a fine display here as reserve. He'll be nervous. It's his first ever ride in a GP, a big moment for that young man.
Indeed it will. Great experience. He'll remember it forever, of course. If you can jump out the start, who knows? Anything's possible. But we got Greg Hancock on the inside, the world champion, who was impressive last time. Batchelor, who has been a little bit up and down, but has had a reasonable night so far. He's on 5. But Everson on the outside, Nige. He needs points here, big time.
Hancock off the inside in red. Gate 2 in blue is Troy Batchelor. Gate 3 in white is Nika Luna, one of the reserves here tonight. And off the outside in yellow is Niels Christian Everson. We'll try and get an update on Thomas H. Jonasson down in the pitch just as soon as we can. But obviously a big moment for this young man at reserve off gate number 3.
Absolutely, and you know, he may be a little bit overawed, but he's out there, he's got an opportunity. Never ideal when everybody else has had 3 rides already, but who knows, he might just drop the clutch at the right time and give himself half a chance. But keep your eyes on the fellas on the inside, particularly the world champion. Hancock was looking like he was back to his best in the previous one.
Yep, nice start from Hancock off gate number 1. Batchelor is going to go wide here, mid-track. Everson's going even wider. Batchelor is going high into the dirt and has got plenty of speed here. Will he try it again, or will Hancock hold the line? Hancock's lost it there. That allows Batchelor the opportunity to dive up the inside. But Hancock got it back under control superbly.
Yeah, he did. He went very straight there. Just
Luna!
Oh, he's still on it! How on earth did he stay on the bike? Fantastic. All credit to him. The survival instinct was kicking in. But yeah, it's tricky down in the bottom corner. Hancock, the world champion, sharp away from the tapes, having to be a little bit circumspect on the way in. Batchelor charging hard. Everson is not his night. He really is struggling for points here this evening, but Hancock, the world champion, showing exactly why he is, coming up with the goods when he really needs it.
Using all his experience and track craft here, the old master, Greg Herbie Hancock, set to move on to 9 points, and that'll put him through to the semi-finals here in Tampere tonight. Into that 3rd and 4th turn, taking it easy. Batchelor goes on one wheel and almost loses it, but moves on to 7 points now. Troy Batchelor, he'll be happy with that as well. And Niels Christian Everson, it's not his night.
No.
It's unlikely that Niels will reach the semi-finals from here after every rider has now completed 4 rides. But how the heck Nika Luna managed to stay on the bike there, goodness only knows.
I don't know, and we may have to rush down and ask him, because he did get himself complete. He probably doesn't know himself. It was just pure luck there, but all credit to him. He survived and he completed the 4 laps. Hancock showing great class here after a difficult start tonight. Back-to-back wins. He's in the semi-finals.
Yep, Hancock, Batchelor, Everson and Nika Luna, who's on his way for a change of underpants, no doubt. 4 races gone, and we see Kasperzak, Woofenden, Hancock and Pedersen all leading the way on 9 points.
Yeah, just a momentary pause there now before the last round of heats. Nika Luna there just giving himself a real good chance.
Heat 18.
Yeah, Hancock, Woofenden, Kasperzak and Doyle, yeah. Looking forward to watching it. I don't think I'd enjoy being in that race. That looks a little bit tough, but we'll see the replay. Once again, the classic starting style of Hancock. He hits the first corner. Everson wide, trying to look for the tuckback, but Nika Luna there just in his way a little bit. Batchelor coming through. It's tight. The track has definitely got very challenging on the way into the corner, and when you factor in that the riders are going so fast, look at this. How on earth he stays on there. He does remarkably well. Just has to take a real deep breath as he charges back down the straight. Dramatic stuff here, but Hancock out in front. Very impressive indeed.
Well, Nicky and Greg, plenty of experience, just comparing notes about the track surface as 1 or 2 track grading laps are being done now?
Dead right, absolutely. A little bit of concern about the conditions. They have got the 2 tractors out and the watering truck, so let's just hope it doesn't deteriorate too badly, because you know, we're beginning to get to the business end of the meeting. And it is a little tricky in places, but fingers crossed that they can improve that.
Nie wkręciłem gazu i szybko poszła taśma, więc patrzę w prawo, oni jeszcze naderzają z tej górki, bo jesteś najniżej z tego pierwszego.
Krzysztof Kasperzak, 9 points, 3 wins and a last.
No właśnie, przed chwilą
That's the same as Ty Woffenden as well. Hancock has been slightly more consistent, hasn't actually got a last place yet.
Kciuki, żeby to, co zagrało
it's consistent, isn't he? You know, he knows when he needs to produce the goods, and time again, the world champion proves that he can do it when it really matters. He's got gate 1 in his last one, won the race fine style. Kasperzak still looking like he's got a smile on his face.
Przede wszystkim twój silnik. Tyle Krzysztof Kasprzak, któremu bardzo dziękujemy. Ja spieszę z informacją od Bossa Widebranta a propos Thomasa Jonassona. Nie pojechał jednego wyścigu, jest tam uraz lewego kolana. Zobaczymy, bo jeszcze nie ma ostatecznej decyzji, czy wystąpi w następnym. Dzięki, Krzysztof.
Because we know the riders that are dominating right now. There's 4 riders on 9, Doyle on 8, Bachelor and Jepsen Jensen on 7, and then there are 3 riders on 6. And that's Hampel, Holder and Jonsson.
Well, I've gone for Woffenden, I think, maybe to win the meeting, yeah, and I think that I'm just holding my breath a little bit, because it really is a tough night.
Jarek Hampel is down in the pits, and he's with our man Steve Brandon.
Jarek, a great ride for you in Heat 13. How many things did you change to pull that one out of the bag?
Well, a lot of things I changed in my bike, because I didn't race good before 2 races. I've got a lot of trouble, especially coming into the corner. I couldn't steering my bike right away, so I need to change a lot of things, and now my bike working better, so I try to keep my throttle on.
Gate 2 again, does that mean you've had to change nothing this time?
Yeah, this is true. I made a good gate from 2, so I will leave it everything. So just I need to think what I need to do the best on the track, the first turn, and then try to keep going.
I know you keep an eye on things. You know a good result in the next race is vital if you want to make the semi-final.
That's it. I need to score some points if I want to race more races, more hits today. So I try to stay focused.
Good luck in the last one. Thanks.
Thanks a lot.
Yeah, he's going to have to stay focused, because he's got a very important last ride coming up. It's not going to be easy. He's out against Nicky Pedersen and Troy Batchelor, who's also enjoying a really good evening.
And Steve Brandon down in the pits area, who's going to catch up with somebody else. We'll hear, I think, from Great Britain's Ty Woffenden now, who's with Steve.
Ty, 4 rides gone, 9 points. It's very close to the semi-finals being guaranteed, but not quite.
Yeah, I've had a few good races, and gate 3, the rut was too deep and my exhaust kept bottoming out, so I did everything I could, but I had to go from another bit, and it was slick as can be. So hey, I'm making some good starts at the moment. I changed bike. Probably should have started with that one, but you know, it's early season and I haven't done that many meetings, so.
How much on a night like this, we see guys talking about the track, chatting between each other, how much is it about just concentrating on your job on the track and doing the things you know you can do well?
Yeah, it's good, you know. Joe Parsons got us hooked up, me, Chris and Greg in our little corner, and we're just having a laugh between us and letting everyone else do the talking. So, you know, the track's tough, it's not easy to ride, but, you know, we're racing motorbikes and, you know, it can't be easy all the time.
Grand Prix Speedway was never going to be easy.
No, it's not easy, but, you know, some days you get to the track and the track's so smooth and so nice to ride, but when it's that smooth, it's almost like a little bit boring. Like, my first race here today, I was in front and I was like, it's such a big lap, and you kind of sat there like, yeah, okay, another lap. It's weird. It's a weird feeling. And Finland as well, it's not like Cardiff or the indoor ones. It just hasn't got that atmosphere, so it's really hard to get yourself pumped up and ready to go. But, hey, everyone's doing their best, and, you know, we haven't had no big crashes yet. Touch wood.
Winning World Championships isn't boring, though, is it?
No, not at all. I might, you know, don't get me wrong, I might have used boring in the wrong sentence, but, hey, I'm scoring points, I'm happy.
I think I know what you mean. Get on with your work, cheers.
Thank you.
I understand what he's saying there. You know, you get more satisfaction when there's a little bit more of a challenge on the track, maybe a bit more grip, and you really have had to put that little bit more effort in. And I think Ty's probably referring to that rather than the fact that he's bored. When the track's perfect, you can just hold the bike in your fingertips and just float around. But, you know, that aside, I think Ty's ridden nicely this evening, just one blip. But I think he's still a major threat for a win here this evening, that's for sure.
Was no score for you, but so far you're collecting the points to semis.
Yeah, that's it. You know, we're racing World Championship level, and the track isn't ideal. You know, it is difficult to race, but you know, we're all dealing with it in our own way and getting on with the job in hand. You know, so yeah, it's going good at the moment. Gate 3 was tough, but I changed bikes and I've had a couple of wins, so you know, I'm happy and just gonna keep working until the end of the night.
Na razie jestem zadowolony z pracy swojego motocykla. Zmieniłem go po pierwszym starcie i teraz rzeczywiście pracuje to dobrze, żeby dojechać do półfinałów. O tym torze można powiedzieć, że nie jest łatwy do ścigania, ale to są Mistrzostwa Świata, tak mówi Tai Woffinden, i każdy z nas na swój sposób musi sobie z tym poradzić. Tyle. Tai Woffinden, dziękuję Ci bardzo.
Bardzo dziękuję.
Yeah, so Tai feeling pretty good, and interesting that, you know, it is the same for every rider. And Tai just focusing on his own job, Kelvin.
Yeah, you've got to. It's an individual event. It's not the sort of event where you're in a team where you're going to relay information to another rider, albeit you may have the same sponsor. Bottom line is you're racing for the ultimate prize in the sport, to be world champion. So if you find an edge on the night, you're probably going to keep it to yourself, Nigel.
Yep, Hancock and Woffinden joint top of the world championship right now on 14 points. Jari Campbell on 13, Christoph Kasperzak, Nicky Pedersen, Matti Zegaard, Jason Doyle and Michael Jepsen Jensen all on 12. And in actual fact, 3 points separate 10 riders in the World Championship standings right now. That's how tight it is.
Very tight.
As we go into the latter stages of round 2.
Exactly. Riders now just beginning to make their way out for Heat 17. And Maciej Janowski just coming out, who's had a disappointing night. Holder was better last time, I've got to say. He looked really determined to get better of Nicky Pedersen. Thomas H. Jonasson with his leg up. He looks like he's not going to take too much. Looks like he may have pulled out of the meeting. An ice pack on the side of his knee. He is out of the meeting. Okay, well, that's disappointment for Jonasson. And Iverson here has had... he's had a tough start. I have heard whispers that he has been struggling with bike setup and has found points at times difficult to come by. But
when he's on top form, Jonasson, he's fantastic to watch, isn't he?
Thomas H. Jonasson.
Thomas H. Jonasson.
Oh, God, yeah, he is a real hard charger, and he takes no prisoners, and he's exciting to watch. But unfortunately, it hasn't been his evening. Andreas Jonsson, good comeback here. Nasty injury, and he's in the thick of it here. He's sitting quite nicely, and he's got 6 points. An important Heat 17 for him from the inside. Every chance of making the semi-finals, but needs 2 points at least, I would suggest.
Yeah, Heat 17 coming up then here. We have Jonsson and Holder on 6 points apiece off the inside 2 gates here.
Yeah.
So, win or bust for those guys, you feel? Maybe.
But Holder's got to win, Nige.
Yeah.
He's got to win. That could be really useful for the former world champion. See how he gets on coming out of gate 2.
Here we go with Heat 17. Massive race coming up for the guys off the inside 2 gates. Andreas Jonsson and Chris Holder. Niels Christian Iversen off gate 3 in white. Mats Janowski off the outside in yellow. Could be win or bust for AJ and Holder from the inside 2 gates. And just on the World Championship right now, as we approach the latter stages of round 2, Greg Hancock and Tai Woffinden are the leaders on 14. But let me tell you, there are 3 points separating the top 10 riders in the World Championship standings.
Fantastic.
Right now.
Really.
Just 3 points.
Yeah. Absolutely, we were just over the halfway point in the second round of the World Championship, and it's everything to race for. As you rightly say, Nigel, the 2 lads on the inside, they're the ones with the chance of making the semi-final. Holder's had a win, that will help him. If it's tight on the count back, a heat win is very useful at times. Jonsson hasn't managed to do that. He's had pace tonight, coming back from a nasty knee injury. He's the inside. big race. Can Iversen find something just to get a little bit of confidence?
Here we go, heat number 17. Jonsson's made a good start from the inside gate and around the... Oh! Janowski hits a rut there in the early stages, and Andreas Jonsson is the man in second in red. Chris Holder is third in blue, and the man at the back in white is Niels Christian Iversen. Now Jonsson, will he settle for second spot here? Niels Christian Iversen is charging hard around the outside, desperate for every single point here, but the lead, unlikely though it may be, is with Mats Janowski as Iversen and Holder are wheel to wheel in third.
I tell you what, that's awfully close. Holder coming back at Iversen. Iversen finally getting himself into third place. Jonsson's up. Janowski's got trouble. Bike's backing up there momentarily, just running out of steam. Oh, they're falling over each other. My goodness, how on earth they avoided Janowski coming out of turn 2 on the second lap. But Andreas Jonsson, this is exactly what the doctor ordered for him. A heat win on 6 points, moving on to 9. Well, semi-final.
Yeah, good stuff from Andreas Jonsson. Slightly fortunate with Janowski pulling up. It's been a miserable night for Mats Janowski, but Andreas Jonsson takes the checkered flag. It's a big victory for Jonsson. 3 big points for him, with Niels Christian Iversen in second. He finishes on 6 points tonight. Chris Holder moves on to 7. And with Andreas Jonsson moving on to 9, he can surely look forward to a place in the semi-finals now.
Yeah,
Andreas Jonsson.
Yeah, that's a good effort from the Swedish rider here. It was tough, I tell you, but away from the inside and got his nose in front.
Yep, Jonsson the winner with Iversen second. Chris Holder was third. Mats Janowski packed up there with bike troubles there in heat number 17. So Jonsson moves on to 9. And Chris Holder on to 7, mixing up my Jonssons and Jonasons in commentary in that
right
race.
Country.
But AJ, I'll call him from now on.
Do that, but got the right country night, so very nearly there. Andreas Jonsson, a good performance from him. He's gaining confidence and performance throughout the evening. Inside gate works well, although, got to say, Janowski, who's had a difficult evening, comes roaring out of gate 4. Hits that little rut on the inside and then regains composure. A real scrap for third place here on the opening lap and a half between Iversen and Holder, with Iversen finally getting there. And I tell you what, there was a moment here when Janowski's bike was packing up, and as they came out of turn 2 on the third lap, how on earth they avoided him. It's happening now. He just can't get out of the way, and Iversen, crikey, he just goes between the 2 of the riders there, and that could have been nasty. It's very tight in turn. When you consider the speeds that riders are going around here, you know, any sort of clash could be quite dramatic indeed. Jonsson, good stuff.
Now, what a lineup for heat number 18. Confirmation, Jonsson, 9 points. But heat number 18, we have 3 riders on 9 points each. Kasperzak, Woofenden, and also Hancock. And we have Jason Doyle on 8. There's 4 riders on 9. Pedersen, Hancock, Woofenden and Kasperzak. 3 of those are in action here in this race. Jason Doyle on 8 points,
well,
and he is the man in the outside gate. Quite a lineup here.
Yeah, effectively the top 4 riders on the night so far. Jonsson's ridden 1 more race, that's why he's on 9 and in there, but riders on 4 races apiece. These are the top 4 from those 4 races. Excuse me, Nicky Pedersen is also in there, but certainly the 4 riders here have enjoyed a super night at Speedway so far, and Doyle, I say, could be a surprise packet on the outside.
Yeah, absolutely. Greg Hancock off the inside in red, Ty Woofenden off 2, Christoph Kasperzak off 3, Jason Doyle off the outside. Who will emerge here? Which gate will prove to be profitable? Will Greg Hancock make one of his trademark electric getaways from the inside gate here? This is heat number 18. What a lineup here in Tampere for this one, and Hancock is electric away from the start. A stunning start from Greg Herbie Hancock, and now Woofenden sneaks up the inside. There's room round the outside for Hancock to come back. Woofenden allowed him room there, to be fair. Oh, and now he's lost control there, Hancock. Woofenden takes the lead. Hancock's coming back for more up the inside with Doyle third, and Kasperzak has pulled up at the back.
Yeah, Hancock, oh, he's off! The champion's down, just getting himself running wide. He was struggling on the first lap, and as I started the second lap, he's gone down. He gets the bike off the track. Very fair. Doyle nearly hitting the fence in the bottom corner. Riders all over the track here. Conditions really have deteriorated very quickly here, with ruts appearing all over the place. Kasperzak's cruising, absolutely just cruising round. Woofenden out in front. Got to say, Doyle's hanging on to second place, but Wow, drama here.
Yeah, Woffenden with a clear lead now. Doyle in second. Kasperzak is nursing the bike round and just taking it in cruise control. But what about Ty Woffenden of Great Britain? It's going to be 4 wins on the night for him. Ty Woffenden takes the checkered flag and moves on to 12 points from Jason Doyle second. And in third place, Christoph Kasperzak will cruise round and take a point. But Woffenden on top of his game, absolutely delighted with that. He stayed out of trouble and has managed to get the victory. But Greg Hancock, it has to be said, not very often you see that happen with Greg Hancock falling all on his own. And in his career, his 26-year career, you can count on one hand how many times that's happened.
Yeah, very unusual to see him come off the bike on his own. He got a lot of grip coming into the first corner, second time around. Bike straightens up and he had no choice but to bail out. Ty Woffenden's enjoying a fabulous night. Just one poor ride from him. He moves on to 12 points. And I've got to say, Woffenden really is in top form here tonight.
Ty Woffenden the winner then. Jason Doyle picking up 2 points. Christoph Kasperzak, who looked as though he was pulling out of the race until Hancock fell. He was still under power and didn't leave the course, so was able to go around for a point. And Greg Hancock has to settle for 9 points from his 5 qualifying rides. But for Ty Woffenden, 4 wins, and alas, he's in the semi-finals.
Yeah, comfortably, and he's going to get a good pick as well for the semi-final. Hancock, what a start it was initially from the inside, jet propelled. He then runs into trouble. Right from here, he comes in, lots of grip there, the bike unsettled, and that allows Woffenden to get the better of him. But then he comes into the first turn, second time around, too much grip and literally just slides across the track and slips off the side of the bike. I do think he's okay. Yeah, I'm sure he's okay, and he just bumps against the air fence. More his pride hurt than anything else, but a rare occurrence for the world champion to make that sort of mistake. But track conditions are a challenge now. But former world champion Ty Woffenden enjoying a great night at Speedway, and he's the top man at this stage on the night.
Yep, 12 points for Woffenden then from 5 rides now. Hancock has to settle for 9. He'll be in the semi-finals, but I just wonder how much will that play on Greg's mind, what happened there, as we build up to heat number 19. And
yeah, we're going to have a little bit of a track grade now. It's no surprise with that. You know, when you're seeing riders straightening up at such high speeds, that's the key to this place. You're travelling so fast at the end of the straight. If you hit ruts, the bike gets away from you so very quickly, and it really can knock the confidence out of you immediately. So no surprise to see the graders and the trucks coming out to try and improve track conditions before the actual scheduled track grading after the 4 heats. So yeah, a little delay for us.
Yep, 18 heats gone. The next track grade was due to be after heat number 20, but they're just doing a little bit of remedial work now. And heat number 19 sees Chris Harris, Jarek Hampel, Nicky Pedersen, who's on 9, and Troy Batchelor, who is on 7. So a big race coming up.
Well, yeah.
In heat number 19.
Big races now, aren't they, this time of the night? Hampel needs a race win, you would think. Batchelor a couple of points to give himself a chance. Harris has ridden hard, but he's on 4, so he can't make the semi-finals this evening. But every point counts, of course, in the course of the season, so you can never throw the towel in. You've got to keep battling away. Just his pride hurt a little bit there, but we know how tough he is. You know, you don't win 3 world championships by worrying about slipping off the bike. He's no harm done. He's in the semi-finals. Just probably a little concerned. We'll see it here. He comes in, bike unsettles there, then it drives hard underneath him, and it just goes over the camber of the track there, and it's a little greasy, and where they put water on and the bike gets away from him. There'll be some discussions, but of course when you see the current world champion slipping off like that, no surprise to see some track grading going on immediately afterwards.
So Jarek Hampel then just awaits the opportunity to ride in heat number 19 here in Tampere. We move on to the first permanent track of the series in 1 week's time, next Saturday in the Markéta Stadium in Prague, which is the first permanent track of the series.
Yep.
And we're looking forward to going to that magnificent city of Prague next Saturday night. Down in the pits then, whilst this track grade is going on, is our man Steve Brandon.
Thanks, Nigel. I'm just stood outside the monster pit bays with Greg Hancock and Ty Woffenden. 2 conflicting looks on riders' faces. Greg, a look of frustration. I can't even remember when he fell off in a Grand Prix heat on his own like that, caught out by the track perhaps. Ty Wolfenden, on the other hand, he said recently in an article he's more relaxed this year. He's enjoying not riding so much. He's got a smile on his face, and he does look exactly that, very relaxed. My maths tells me that he's topped the score chart tonight and can't be picked for first choice in the semi-final, which means he's going to have a great pick. Greg Hancock, on the other hand, is going to be thinking about maybe going off one of the harder gates in the semi-final, and in his beloved green leathers for you, Nigel, he may have his work cut out up there. What are your thoughts, Kelvin? Is the track deteriorating as badly as the riders make it look?
Unfortunately, Steve, the speed here is creating an issue in the fact that you only need one or two little ruts coming into the corner at the moment when you're peeling off, and because you're travelling that bit quicker here, the bike reacts quite violently underneath you. And that is a challenge mentally, and you've got to say that some riders will cope with it a little better than others. Wolfenden has done well so far, Steve, but the world champion just got himself, in actual fact, in the previous race, although he won it, he did struggle a little bit, so he's going to have to dig deep here if he wants to try and make the final.
Kelvin, how hard is it from a rider's perspective when you have these little extra delays you're not expecting in a meeting? He's done his fifth ride, he knows what he's finished on, semi-final draw should be coming up. It's now going to be 5, 6, 7, 8 minutes before he gets to make that choice. Does that frustrate? Does that mean you switch off a little bit? How hard do you have to concentrate?
Well, it's a balance. You're right. It's a good question. You know, the concentration needs to be, you know, when the tapes go up, you need to be fully focused, but he'll relax now, but he knows he has a decision. It will be whirring away in the back of his mind. The right pick at the right time, of course, can be the difference between winning and losing, but it's part of the job, Steve. You know, you need to be, if you're going to be world champion, and both these boys we've been talking about have done it, so they can cope with it. But Ty will have an idea in his mind where he wants to go from, where he feels comfortable.
And we're just going to try if we can see and get a look at Christoph Kasperzet around here. Started the night remarkably well, 3 wins from 3 rides, and then he's had no points from his 4th ride, 1 point from his 5th ride. He's now really going to be scratching his head on what setup, where he's going to go. He's not going to get one of the first decent picks, and he's really going to have to dig in if he wants to take some big points away from here tonight. So interesting to see what happens. 2 heats to go, semi-final draws coming up. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Steve. Down in the pits area, heat number 19, Chris Harris, Jere Campbell, Nicky Pedersen and Troy Batchelor will be out on track after this track grade. They just need to grade the 3rd and 4th turn a little bit more around the outside, I feel, at this particular stage. Wolfenden and Hancock, great respect for each other. Certainly big pals, big rivals, but certainly fantastic respect as well, which is always great to see.
When it comes to Greg Hancock, I don't know a rider in the world who doesn't respect him for what he's achieved. It's a remarkable career he's had. Had a good chat with Greg earlier today in the hotel, and such a smashing man. You know, you can talk to him, he's relaxed, he's the real deal, and still performing so well. You know, trap in and he's in there, he's still going to battle and still has the fire burning in his belly to be world champion again, as is this man, Nicky Pedersen. He's having to wait patiently, not entirely happy with conditions, I think, but World Championships are points on the line, Nigel. This meeting is not going to be called off. It's going to go to its completion, I'm sure, but you've got to somehow, the ruts coming into corners on a high-speed track are tough. Mentally, they challenge you, and it's how you go about it and who deals with that best. Making starts will help, because it will give you will be able to dictate where you ride. Track looks like it's coming to a point where we can get on with it again now. They've put a bit of water on, they've graded. The race director, Phil Morris, will be keeping an eye on it. It'll be interesting to see when he releases the riders, Nige, but there's not too much more they can do, and the tractor, the pink tractor in particular, is just now being waved off.
Yeah, a bit more water going down here then as we build up to heat number 19.
That's one thing I'm a little surprised about.
Yeah, it wasn't dusty, was it?
No, I don't think that's necessary, and I think the way that Greg went down, it was actually greasy out there. I'm not so sure that this is ideal for riders, but no, let's hope that doesn't present problems for riders. But Harris patiently waiting. Ollie Olsen there, of course, a former world champion himself, the race director. He is the man in charge of the temporary tracks, and he's looking on. Riders having to be patient. It's not ideal. Hampel in particular, brilliant ride last time, now having to just manage his emotions while he waits there for this all-important race. He's been in good form this year, so is Pedersen having to be, but in the back of their mind, they know. Phil Morris there, chatting with the 3-time world champion. Interesting conversation. I'd like to be a fly on the wall there right now. Batchelor alongside him there, keenly listening on. Yeah, this is interesting, these types of things, because Pedersen's a powerful man in the paddock.
There's a Grand Prix to be won. Who is going to win it?
I fancy Wolfenden, Nigel. I fancied him before. I think he was relaxed, he was keen, he's enthusiastic, he's fully fit.
He looks the most at ease. He looks the most relaxed, because quite clearly Greg had an issue there. Nicky Pedersen was shaking his head at our camera. He's clearly not happy. Wolfenden just getting on with it.
Well, yeah, and sometimes the mental, you know, the way you approach it can be the difference of winning and losing. Often is, in actual fact. Hampel's mental strength will now be tested. I've got to say that making the start for Hampel is going to be imperative. If he doesn't, I think he'll struggle. But as I say, he'll want to make the semi-finals. Pedersen, of course, it's all about being world champion for him now. There's no question of that. And all-important world championship points for him. He'll want to keep going, and he's a renowned starter. Gate 3, though, not great for him.
No, but we know on his day he can trap better than most. And heat number 19 is coming up with Pedersen on 9. Big race for Troy Batchelor here as well. He's off the outside in yellow, and he's on 7 points, the Australian. He could do with a second place here, you feel, just to stamp his authority on a place in the semi-finals here tonight in Tampere. Batchelor and Holder failed to score a month ago in the opening round, but Batchelor's looked a lot better tonight. Of course, he has been carrying injuries, but he's been able to get back on the bike after a couple of weeks break and looking a lot fitter for sure. Heat 19 it is then. Harris off the inside in red. Jarek Hampel goes off gate number 2 in blue. He needs a victory. Nicky Pedersen goes off gate 3 in white, and Troy Batchelor is the man off the outside. A lot of pressure on him in yellow.
There is, but the outside's pretty decent tonight, so possibly you'll be feeling quite confident there. Got to say that Hampel coming out of gate 2 has got to produce something. The ruts are quite deep now. Choosing the right rut to go out of will be very key. Harris there on the inside, will he play his part? Often when the track gets rough, you know, Harris doesn't worry about it. He actually thrives in these conditions quite often, so don't rule him out. A big race now, here we go.
Here we go then with heat number 19. It's a great start from Harris off the inside in red. Now what will Nicky Pedersen do? It's Hampel holding second place, and Harris has just gone wide, and that allows Jarek Hampel to nip up the inside. Great ride from him. Second place is Chris Harris. Nicky Pedersen has gone square in that turn. The lead is with Hampel. Second place Harris. Third is Pedersen, and Troy Batchelor pulled up at the back, couldn't see properly I suspect, and he's now pulling wheelies.
Well, I don't really know what that's all about, because 7 points he might miss out. What a ride this is from Hampel. Got to say, initially Harris was sharp away from the tapes. He's not renowned for his starting, but fair play to him. He's in second place. He's not going to make the semis tonight, but still, 2 points is 2 points towards your total on the World Championship trail. Got to say, Jarek Hampel has shown great character here. 2 poor rides and then back-to-back wins. A lap to go, looking like he's going to make the semi-finals. Nicky Pedersen clearly not enjoying it. He's just floating around. He's going to pick up a point, but he may have words with Phil Morris, the race director. Not really sure why Troy Batchelor is pulling wheelies.
Well, the winner here, Jarek Hampel, looked very smooth and very comfortable there. Chris Harris having a real go in second place, and Nicky Pedersen comes round into third, and that puts him on to 10, and that will take him through to the semi-finals as well. Troy Batchelor goes over the line on one wheel in last place in heat number 19. Jarek Hampel, though, with a big win there, puts him on to 9.
Yeah,
and propels him into the top 8.
Very good indeed, and conditions are now where you attack the track, it actually rides better. If you just sort of take it easy, it can actually catch you out, but all credit to Jarek Hampel. That was a terrific ride from him.
Yeah, looked very smooth, and Chris Harris had a real go as well. He always does, Chris Harris, whatever the conditions, gets well and truly stuck in. Alas, he's on 6 and won't get through to the semis tonight. We'll see Wolfenden on 12. He will now be confirmed as top of the leaderboard going into the semi-finals and have first pick of gates in the semi-finals here. And Jarek Hampel has saved his night with that victory.
He has, and in fine style, because he doesn't make the start. He's made to work here. He's middle of the track. He squares the corner off, and that's a textbook move. got to say that Troy Batchelor has pulled up very early. Nicky Pedersen in trouble there down in the bottom corner. The bike straightens up, and he clearly didn't enjoy it because he just floated around in third place when he realised that he wasn't under any threat from Troy Batchelor behind him. Batchelor on the outside here, but this is a good move from Hampel up the inside of Chris Harris. Roars into the front, and back-to-back wins. 9 points into the semi-finals, showing good character, real determination, hunger to make the semi-finals on a tough night of Speedway for these boys. Pedersen not entirely satisfied, not entirely happy, but 10 points to his name. He's in the semi-finals alongside the man on his left. Good stuff from Hampel there.
Now, heat number 20, we see a change in yellow. Thomas H. Jonasson ruled out of the meeting, and it's Yuri Niemanen's turn to come in the yellow helmet colour here. Yuri Niemanen replaces Thomas H. Jonasson here. The two reserves tonight are Nika Luna and Yuri Niemanen, the riders here.
I'd be interested to see if Niemanen does something spectacular in the first corner like the other young lad, Luna, did. Hopefully he can stay on and enjoy it. There were riders charging for points. Zagar on the inside was impressive. Zagar probably won't make the semi-finals, but he'd like to finish with 2 wins. And got to say that it's going to get tight on 7 points. Got to say, could be very tight indeed. Jepsen Jensen also, he's chasing after a semi-final spot.
He only needs a point, Jepsen Jensen, really, doesn't he? Exactly. It's Zagar off the inside, Jepsen Jensen needing a 3rd place here, Timo Lahti off gate 3, Yuri Niemanen off the outside, the battle of the Finns off the outside 2 gates here. This is heat number 20. Good start from Jepsen Jensen, but a better one from Zagar off the inside gate. The 2 Finns battling away at the back there, and with Zagar holding the lead, Jepsen Jensen is 2nd, and that will put Jepsen Jensen on to 9 points, and he'll go above Troy Batchelor into the top 8. So the top 8 will be clear-cut with the lead with Matti Zagar. He's going to miss out. He's paying the price here, Zagar, for 2 last places and a 3rd, and he's opening 3 rides.
Yeah, it's tough for him, but he's on 4. This will put him on 7. Batchelor's on 7 and 8th. So it could be very close for Zagar with 2 back-to-back wins. It'll be interesting to see how that works out on the count back. May be enough.
So down the back straight, Zagar with the lead here. Jepsen Jensen with 2 points. That'll do for him to put him on to 9. And the top 8 will be clear-cut with Jepsen Jensen, Jonsson, Hancock, Hampel, Doyle, Pedersen, Kasperzak and Woofenden. That's the way it is. Zagar will miss out now. Down the back straight, he's got the race under control, but of course every point counts in the Grand Prix.
Yeah, great finish from him, and got to say that he's turned his night around. He'd be terribly frustrated because, you know, on the evidence of his last 2 rides, Nigel, he has been in fine form. Jepsen Jensen comfortably through now there with the 2nd place, but got to say, you know, if Zagar could have got himself going earlier on in the night, he could have been a threat for a win again here this evening, but it's not to be.
No, so clear cuts, the top 8 now. Zagar misses out by a point after scoring 1 from 3 rides. He signs off with 2 wins, the Bellevue and Slovenian man. Zagar, Jepsen Jensen, Lahti and Niemanen. Jepsen Jensen has made the semis without winning a race, so it's Woofenden, Kasperzak, Pedersen, Doyle, Hampel, Hancock, Jonsson and Jepsen Jensen as semi-finalists in Finland tonight.
Yeah, good stuff from Zagar. Thought for a moment actually he was going to get a chance at the semi-finals, but I can't add up. Fortunately, my co-commentator can. He obviously got his maths GCSE. Super stuff initially from Zagar away from the inside. Brilliant stuff from him. Jepsen Jensen just knows, he realises that a steady ride here will see him through. He's not under too much pressure. But number 55, Matti Zagar, winner here last year, winning 2 races at the end of his evening. He will be kicking himself as he goes and gets changed, because there's no question if he could have got going a little bit earlier, he could have been a major threat.
Yeah, he'll be looking at the way the scores have gone, and he'll realise that, unfortunately for him, it's not worked out. And,
but he's been so fast, hasn't he? And like, you know, earlier on he was just squeezed out, didn't quite have the right setup.
Yeah.
And as I say, this is a very penal track. If you don't get the bike to the first corner, it's gonna. We've seen on many occasions where riders have won races and then inexplicably have run a last. And even with Woofenden on 12 points, that does include a 0, so that just sums it up how unpredictable it is out there. And it's going to be, you know, full focus now on the semi-finals. Not fabulous speedway, but decent enough. We've had one or two highlights this evening with riders battling hard, but it's the business end of the meeting now.
Yeah, very much the business end. And the semi-finals coming up shortly. We'll have the draw for gate positions very soon. The pick, I shall say. The top 8 clear-cut in terms of points. And it's a question of the finishing order to be confirmed by the FIM jury, the FIM race director and secretary here.
Quite big casualties here this evening. Niels Christian Iversen misses out, Zagar misses out, Holden misses out. They'll be disappointed with that. The 2-minute clock, that will be on now. They get 2 minutes to now get up for the draw. If they're not there, then they'll miss their slot. And they'll be relegated to getting the last pick. So a little bit of pressure on riders to make sure they get up there in time. So,
yep, we await the draw for the semi-finals, or should I say the selection of the riders. So here we go, confirmation. Woofy, KK, Nicky, Jason Doyle, Jari Campbell, Greg Hancock, Andreas Jonsson and Michael Jepsen Jensen. Consistent, hasn't won a race, Michael Jepsen Jensen.
No.
But has got 9 points in the bag, and even if you'd have scored 8 tonight, it's one of those rare occurrences in the GP where 8 wouldn't have been enough, Kelv.
No, it's highly competitive stuff, and everybody taking points off one another. Now the clock is running, the meridian lifts clocks, they're now counting down. And riders now need to get there, because if they're not there, Woofenden's up. He doesn't want to give away his first pick. Clearly has made his decision, I'm sure, of where he's going to start from. Riders being called up, the clock is ticking, Bachelor's up there. Interesting to see how they respond. Jari Campbell kicking about, the world champion there also. These are tense times. These can be the moments where you really need to get it right. Maybe a touch of good fortune where somebody surprises you, because you'll have an idea in your mind where you would like to start from. You might have an idea of where you're probably going to get, particularly if you're not a high point scorer, but you can be surprised at times.
But the way the track is, Kelvin, how important is the gate pick here now? Because even if you pick a gate that you think you're comfortable with, or you get a gate that you think you're comfortable with, quite clearly the track is playing a major heavy influence in this meeting.
And as we've seen all night, trying to get your nose in front and being able to dictate where you ride and giving yourself a little bit of extra room is going to be hugely important. Here we go. Woofenden comes up. Gate 1.
Interesting.
Gate 1. Happy to go off the inside, get there and take his chance.
It's Jason Doyle next up.
Doyley, he's had a good night. Fair
Where's
play
he get
to
that
him.
nickname from, Doyley?
No idea. I'll have to ask him, but he's a good rider, and he's been riding well this evening, and he goes from the outside.
Greg Hancock goes off gate 2 in blue.
Herbie, he's off gate 2, good starter.
And that leaves AJ in white off gate number 3. So it's Woofenden, Hancock, Jonsson and Doyle, semi-final number 1.
Yeah, good lineup, and got to say Woofenden's favourite, of course. Hancock will be having to dig deep, but you know he can. Second semi-final now. Kasperzak's up first, and he's in the pole position to pick out where he wants to start from. He fancies the outside, so no clear-cut decision here. Interesting to look at the stats where the race wins have come from, but riders now really going with a gut instinct, I think. Pedersen just taking his time.
Okay, Nicky going off gate number 2 in blue. And Nicky in the qualifying heat scoring 10 points, one of 3 riders to score 10.
I think Hampel will be pleased with that. I think that's a classic case where really he's possibly been chuffed to bits. A third pick to get the inside gap. And quietly going about his business, Michael Jepsen Jensen. And third, he'll go out of gate 3 in semi-final number 2.
Well, interesting. It's going to be interesting to see how the semi-finals go. Can Woofenden make the trap off the inside gate?
It's going to be tough with such a good starter alongside you in Hancock. That does present pressure of its own kind, because, you know, everybody knows how good Greg is away from the tapes, and if Greg does get the better of you going from 2, he can clamp you on the inside and make life very difficult and sort of actually ruin your race before you get round the first corner. So, yeah, Woofenden will be keen to try and get his nose in front before they get to the first turn.
Yeah, very much so. The race for the World Championship is going to be very tight after tonight. The leaderboard after 2 rounds is going to be all bunched up, it has to be said. It'll be interesting to see how it stands when we go to Prague next week. But Chris Holder and Troy Batchelor 7 points tonight, none in Warsaw, so they stick on 7, Holder and Batchelor.
Yeah, but, big casualties tonight, Nigel. Zagar and Batchelor, Holder and Everson all missing out. I've got to say, you would have thought that Everson would have been a rider, and Zagar winning here last year would have made the semi-finals, but another indication of how tough Grand Prix Speedway is. If you're just a fraction off, you know, it can be quite cruel to your chances of getting to the latter stages of the evening.
I think Woofenden is the leader at the moment on 17. Woofenden is on 17 Grand Prix points from 2 meetings. Jara Campbell is on 16. Greg Hancock is on 14. Jepsen Jensen is on 14. Jason Doyle's on 14. And Christoph Kasperzak is on 30. So that's how tight it is. So 2 big races coming up. Can Ty Woofenden take a handy lead to Prague in a couple of weeks' time, where he's won before? We'll find out. First semi-final coming up.
Here we go. Semi-final number 1. Woofy roaring out of the pits and leaps onto the track. Quite clearly keen to get on with it. He roars down the back straight. Meanwhile, a few adjustments. Andreas Jonsson's bike, the world champion there. Greg Hancock going back to see his crew, making sure it's all okay. Yeah, no problems at all. He's just going to let Ty Woofenden wait at the tapes. Big race this. As I said before, Woofenden is under a little bit of extra pressure on the inside. He's chosen that. He fancied that. He felt comfortable going there. But that man there, blue helmet colour, renowned for his starting ability, if he gets the better of Woofenden going to the first corner, he can clamp him there, and he can actually kill Ty's momentum before they get to
come round the outside.
Yes, but maybe dictate things in the first turn. It's going to be an interesting scenario, that. But Doyle on the outside could be a major threat here. He's looked pretty quick tonight.
Here we go. First semi-final coming up. Here we go with the first semi-final of the Finnish FIM Speedway Grand Prix here in Tampere tonight. Ty Woofenden with 12 points to his name goes off the inside. He's got 17 Grand Prix points all told so far. Greg Hancock is off gate 2 in the blue helmet colour here with 9 points to his name. He's on 14 in the World Championship. Andreas Jonsson off gate number 3. Jason Doyle off the outside gate. Doyle also on 14 Grand Prix points now, and good to see him in a semi-final in only the 2nd Grand Prix of his Grand Prix career.
Exactly that, Nigel. Very good. He was frustrated in Warsaw when we had those shenanigans with the green light starts. He got thrown out of a race, but I've got to say he's shown really good speed here tonight, and he's up against some real big performers, particularly the 2 world champions on the inside of him, and Andreas Jonsson, who has ridden well also. But Woofenden and Hancock, that's going to be quite a tussle going to that first corner. Here we go.
All about the start here. This is the first semi-final here in Tampere. Woofenden has made a good one. Hancock is just in 3rd now, and he's going to be passed. Woofenden has the lead. Now Jonsson is 2nd in white, and 3rd is Doyle, with Greg Hancock at the back. And Ty Woofenden has opened up a handy lead here as he goes wide into the dirt. But Jonsson has got plenty of speed as well, Kelvin.
Yeah, and Doyle, don't count him out. I've got a feeling that Greg Hancock doesn't really fancy it. Not really going for it, and he's not going to score any more points tonight. Got to say, the Ty Woofenden out in front is winding it on, and although it's tricky out there, he's looking good. Jonsson, this is a remarkable performance from the Swede. Out for a month with a nasty knee injury, has bounced back with very little racing and is riding brilliantly and looking like he could go through to the final. Has Doyle got anything he can do about it?
Well, it has to be said, Woofenden, Jonsson and Doyle have no problems at all here in this semi-final. They're riding hard, they're riding tough, and Woofenden has got time to look over his shoulder. Ty Woofenden of Great Britain is on the verge of the 11th Grand Prix final of his career. He's going to move on to 15 points tonight and leads the World Championship. and that is a fantastic ride from Woofenden. All the hard work done from the start, and a battling second spot from Jonsson. Doyle just missing out in the early stages as Hancock was passed from gate number 2.
Yeah, great stuff from Woofenden. Terrific composure on the start line. Hancock just not coming up with the start he needed, and he got relegated to the back and quite clearly felt uncomfortable out there. Woofenden looking in a class of his own now. One race to go. Can he continue on and have 6 wins on the night? That would be a remarkable effort if he can put it off. He's in the final. Great ride from Woofenden, and Andreas Jonsson, all credit to him. That's a super effort from the Swedish man.
Yeah, Woofenden, Jonsson, they go through to the final. And Woofenden now on 15 points tonight.
Yeah.
And that is a terrific effort. He goes through the 20-point barrier in the World Championship from the first 2 rounds, and the next round in Prague in 7 days' time. Remember, he's won there before as well.
He has.
So looking good for Team Woofenden.
Is he all right? Just looks like he's a bit uncomfortable there. That's an alarm bell ringing. Didn't notice that initially because he won in fine style. Don't quite know what's caused that problem with his arm, but wow. Can never quite predict. You're dead right, but something's going on there. Maybe his shoulders come out, but Pete Adams there, the manager, in there as well with the Jackie's #1 mechanic. Here we see it again. Fabulous ride from Woofenden. Right over the front wheel, right over the curb there. Look at that from Doyle. Very nearly trying to make that move up the inside of Andreas Jonsson, but the Swedish rider then slams the door into the first corner. No problems there from Woofenden. Looks quite comfortable at this very early stage of the race. Hancock out the back, tough between Sweden, Andreas Jonsson from Sweden and Jason Doyle. Woofenden now coming in here, bike really grabbing hold of him there, possibly there, that's where the damage is done with the shoulder, possibly. Of course, he's had those nasty collarbone injuries in the recent past, whether that's been playing up. But concerns over the fitness of Ty Woofenden, winning semi-final #1. Will he be able to take his place in the final?
Well, drama here. Concerns over Woofenden.
Whoa.
Ahead of the final. And the second semi-final is coming right up now. Who will join Woofenden and Jonsson in the final here in Tampere?
Well,
we know that Nicky Pedersen doesn't like the track conditions tonight. He's shaking his head at the camera. And, well, here we go. Jari Campbell off the inside in red. Nicky Pedersen goes off gate 2 in blue. 10 points to his name. Michael Jepsen off gate 3 in white. And Christoph Kasperzak, who got off to a great start, he goes off the outside in yellow. Tough to predict this one.
It is. And Jari Campbell, who's turned his fortunes around with 2 wins in his latter rides, he's on the inside. Kasperzak, starting like a house on fire, has faded in his last 2 rides. Got to say, Jari Campbell in the driving seat.
Here we go. And it's a good start from the inside gate. Jari Campbell is shoved Pedersen wide here. Now can Nicky go around the outside? What a move from Nicky Pedersen. He might not have been happy with the track a few moments ago, but he's got the lead here. At second place is Jari Campbell. Michael Jepsen is third, and Kasperzak at the back. But that was a great move from Pedersen early on.
It was indeed. He showed a lot of character there. He's not happy with condition. Looks like he's changed his bike. He's a little bit cautious going into turn 3. Hampel in second place. If they're just sensible, these 2 boys will go into the final tonight. Pedersen showing good character. Jepsen just steady in third place, and Kasperzak not fancying it at all. He's cruising, but yeah, you've got to give a lot of credit here to Nicky Pedersen. Pedersen not enjoying conditions, but he's a lap away from the final.
Yep, Nicky Pedersen with a fantastic career behind him. It's his 147th Grand Prix. He's won 13 of them during that career. He's on the verge of his 58th final as he takes it easy going into turn 3. But it's job done for Nicky Pedersen, who takes the checkered flag, and he will be joined by Jari Campbell in the final as well. That was a terrific ride. All the hard work done early on in that semi-final.
And we've seen that on numerous occasions tonight where riders have to make the move early on. Looks like a fresh, shiny bike there, so he's made a big judgment call before the race, and he's got himself through there. I do believe that they rode sensibly there out in front, didn't take too many risks, and you've got to say Pedersen and Jari Campbell, remarkable effort from Hampel after disappointing rides earlier tonight. Pedersen and Hampel in the final.
So, confirmation then that our finalists tonight are Ty Woofenden, Andreas Jonsson, Nicky Pedersen and Jari Campbell, and the final is coming up soon.
Yeah, well, you can never rule him out. He's not entirely happy, but the bottom line is that he's got a hatful of points here tonight, and he's in the final. Big calls made in the pits before that race, Nigel, because he's come out on a clean bike. He's away from gate 2, and it's Hampel initially on gate 1 that makes it, but Jarek just rides a tight line. They all bunch up, and that leaves a bit of racing room for Nicky Pedersen to swoop round the outside. Once again, roaring towards the first corner. Very tight as they get there. Jepsen Jensen trying to chop back to the inside. Kasperzek's out of the back, but this is the move that seals the deal for Pedersen. Swoops around the outside of the Polish man, Jarek Hampel. And although he's a little bit uncomfortable, Nicky Pedersen, he rides a sensible race out in front and gets himself through to another final. Good stuff for Pedersen.
Well, we've got one race to go here in Tampere. It's the grand final coming up in a few moments' time. The 2-minute light will go on shortly as well. Interesting here, no track grading before the final, Kelvin. They're just going to leave it as it is, and has to be said, the 2 semi-finals there, that second semi-final, it looked as though there were less problems for the riders.
Yeah, it's not easy. I'm not going to say it is, but I think if you attack it and you're in the right frame of mind, you will get your rewards. Still doesn't guarantee that you could get caught out, but we're seeing the guys that really have the full commitment, they are reaping the rewards tonight, and all credit to them. But it's been a good night. I think that riders, some riders haven't enjoyed it as much as others, but all credit to Pedersen for making the final, because he didn't look like he fancied it coming out for the second final. But for me, while we patiently wait for riders to come up to make their picks for the final, Woofenden has to be in the driving seat here. He has ridden supremely well and shown great composure, particularly in the semi-final when he was under pressure with Hancock alongside him.
Let's find out what the story is with Ty Woofenden. Steve Brandon is in the pits.
Yeah, thanks, Nigel. I just had a word with Joe Parsons from Monster Energy, and he told me that Ty's shoulder popped out during his 5th heat ride tonight before the semi-final. And as a result, he's in a bit of discomfort. It did pull when he lifted on the first lap of the semi-final. But true to form, tough speedway rider. He's going to be fine for the final, was the word. He's going to have a great pick. I'd be terribly surprised if he didn't go off gate 1 again. And all to play for Ty, and some great points tonight. Obviously, Jarek Hampel's pulled it out of the bag after a poor start. Andreas Jonsson recovered from his knee injury. That kept him out of the first round in Warsaw, and just waiting for Nicky Pedersen to come up. And tonight again, Nicky really come here, not physically fit. Yes, the shoulder's back in. He's grimacing, but he's a tough young man. He's very fit. And Nicky Pedersen will be the last one to come up, and he's arrived here tonight 80% fit. And again, another guy who's put in a gritty performance and just got on with it. And we're just about ready to see what happens in the draw and see what they take.
Okay, thanks very much, Steve. So the riders preparing for the final here then. But what about that? Shoulder pops out, then it goes back in, and he's ready for the final.
Yeah, but the longer it goes on, the harder it'll be, because it'll stiffen up. But he's a young man, he's shown tremendous grit and determination. No surprise to see him going off the inside gate for the big final here this evening, with he in the driving seat. Nicky Pedersen winning the second semi-final, going off gate 2 again. So Pedersen quite happy to come out of the number 2 gate. Jarek Hampel, great turnaround from him, showing some real tenacity and character. He goes from the outside, and AJ, once again, like his semi-final, he will go from gate 3, and he's enjoyed a good night, and no surprise to see a big smile on his face. So Woofenden, Pedersen, Jonsson and Hampel is the final, and that's a tasty lineup. All riders have enjoyed a really good night of Speedway. Woofenden the favourite for me.
Yeah, and plenty of experience between these 4 riders as well, of course. Woofenden now, at this stage of his career, now in his 11th final of his career. Nicky Pedersen now looking forward to seeing Nicky in the final here. He's on 13 points tonight, but a terrific night for him, despite his issues with the track and everybody else's issues, it has to be said.
Great opportunity for Woofenden to add to his total of 3 Grand Prix victories. I'm sure that Ty is a proud man, and he would love to be able to, build on that towards a double-figure score of Grand Prix victories. But the bottom line is, for all these riders in the final, they've got a hatful of Grand Prix points, World Championship points. And at this very early stage, just coming towards the end of the second round of the World Championship, I'm sure they'll be chuffed to bits. I've got to say, Wolfenden will want to get on with this, because when you have a partial dislocation, when it goes back in, it'll keep working. But this evening, tomorrow morning when he wakes up, that will be as stiff as a board. And
he's got to ride in Poland tomorrow, Kel.
Yeah, exactly. So maybe he'll need some sort of physiotherapy or some treatment before he rides again tomorrow. But right now he's just focusing on the next 4 laps. If he can hit the front, I'm sure he won't worry about it. I think the pain will disappear and he'll focus on trying to win the Grand Prix and lead the World Championship going into the Marketa Stadium in Prague in 7 days' time.
121 Grand Prix finals between them. Pedersen, Wolfenden, Jonsson and Hampel, if my maths are correct. 57 for Nicky, 10 for Ty.
Yeah.
AJ 24 and Jarek 30. That's before tonight. That makes 131. If you add the appearances tonight as well, that's 125 Grand Prix final appearances between these 4 boys.
Yeah,
not bad.
It's not bad at all, and that man in particular there, he's had a long, successful career, and he's now readying himself. He wasn't fancying it a little bit earlier on, but he's now found himself in the final, and Nicky knows this is where it really means business, and winning Grand Prix and winning World Championships is what he's all about. He prepares himself very thoroughly for that. And Wolfenden also, who's worked so very hard. Fitness really playing a part now.
So Jarek Hampel then looking for the big drive around the outside from gate 4 in yellow. All the work done by Wolfenden in the first semi was done from gate number 1, which he's got again. But when you wheel to wheel with Nicky Pedersen on the start line, anything can happen, because Nicky is a equally fast starter, of course. And huge credit to Andreas Jonsson. You've already paid tribute to him tonight, Kelv, because he's got stuck in, and quite clearly his rehabilitation has worked wonders on that knee injury, because he was hobbling around, could hardly walk a month ago in Warsaw.
Yeah, really tough injury, and they had blood drained off the knee and did remarkably well just to turn up there, but has had a lot of treatment and has come back and has ridden very well this evening and finds himself in the final. Yeah, nothing guaranteed when a race with Nicky Pedersen in there. You can never relax for a moment, because you know how hard he's going to be pushing. Wolfenden has been supreme. He's only dropped points in 1 race so far this evening. Good looking lineup. Hampel's done really well to make this top 4 on the evening. Super final lineup.
So here we go with the lineup for the final then in Tampere. Ty Wolfenden goes off the inside in the red helmet colour. Nicky Pedersen off gate 2 in blue. Gate 3 is Andreas Jonsson. And off the outside is Jarek Hampel. Plenty of experience between these 4 riders. Can Wolfenden make it count off the inside gate like he did in the first semi-final? Will Pedersen be there? And what about the outside 2 gates that get the drive in the first turn?
Yeah, there's opportunities wherever you look here, and can Wolfenden now win here when he came so awfully close 12 months ago, where really just that mistake in the last corner allowed Zagar through to snatch the Grand Prix victory away from him. It was a turning point for Wolfenden last year. He'd struggled in the first couple of rounds, but here in Tampere was where he really came back to top form. He's on the inside, he's the favourite.
Wolfenden needs second place to lead the series going to Prague, and it's a great start from Nicky Pedersen off gate number 2. He's got the drive, he's got the speed. Wolfenden is on the inside and has lost control momentarily there and has closed the door, but Jonsson coming hard up the inside. Now what can Wolfenden do as he goes deep into the turn in turns 3 and 4? But Nicky Pedersen has the lead. Wolfenden chops across the front of Jonsson. Hampel's at the back, but it's looking good for Nicky Pedersen here.
Fantastic start from Nicky Pedersen. You can never rule him out. He changed his bike for the semi-final. He wasn't happy with conditions. He makes an electric start coming out of gate 2. Wolfenden not quite managing to compete with him there. He's in second place. He's hanging on. Pedersen out in front, dominating the final, looking like he's going to pick up another Grand Prix victory.
Yeah, this will put Nicky Pedersen on to 19 Grand Prix points from 2 rounds of the World Championship. As things stand, if Wolfenden stays where he is, he'll be 22 points going into Prague in 7 days' time and will lead the World Championship. But Nicky Pedersen, with his 58th Grand Prix final appearance, is on the verge of his 18th Grand Prix victory, his 14th win of his career. Nicky Pedersen, a fantastic effort from him. him. 14 Grand Prix wins now for the 3 times world champion. Nicky Pedersen takes the victory. He's been in terrific form so far this season. Ty Woffenden of Great Britain takes the silver medal tonight, and Andreas Jonsson in third. What an effort from Nicky Pedersen of Denmark.
Well, here, that is some effort. That shows tremendous character, because he was not happy at all with conditions. A change of equipment, refocuses, gets himself through to the final, and then an absolutely fabulous start out of gate 2, hits the front and rides a brilliant race out in front. Woffenden in second place, pushes hard. AJ in third place, Hampel out the back. But I tell you what, he'll be proud of himself, and rightly so. That was a really strong ride, turned his fortunes around. And Nicky Pedersen, you can never count him out.
Well, Ty Woffenden finishes top scorer on the night with 17, but Nicky Pedersen is the winner of the Grand Prix, winning the grand final. Pedersen, Woffenden and Jonsson, the finishing order there. And the totals on the night there, Woffenden leads on 17, but Pedersen is the winner of the Grand Prix because he's won the final. A terrific effort from him. And well done to all the boys who have really battled hard tonight in this Grand Prix.
Yeah, fabulous ride from Nicky Pedersen. That was an excellent start out of gate 2. And got to say that, you know, he has shown great character there and terrific form to come through and win the big race when he really needed to. I fancied Woffenden on the inside. He's had a great night. He goes away with a whole hat full of points, so he'll be disappointed he hasn't won the Grand Prix, but when he reflects tomorrow on the amount of World Championship points he's got, I'm sure he'll be chuffed to bits. We won't have to wait too much longer before they're chasing World Championship points again, of course, because we'll be in Prague in 7 days' time, where it'll all start again. Jonsson will be really pleased. That will be a job very well done, because Andreas Jonsson's worked awfully hard with his rehab to make sure he's just to get here in actual fact, and then to get on the rostrum. That's a just reward for his efforts. Woffenden with that dodgy shoulder, I'm sure that'll stiffen up overnight, but he won't worry about that now. Watch this start. This is where he wins the final, effectively. The bike just digs in. Absolutely textbook stuff. And although Woffenden tries awfully hard in second place, slams the door shut initially on Hampel, and Hampel then it gets relegated to the back. Nicky Pedersen, got to give it to him. When the chips are down, he very rarely misses, and once again he comes up with a fabulous start and picks up a really, really good win on the night. Woffenden will be pleased with the points he's scored, but there's no doubt that that man there is chuffed to bits. That's been a tough night at Speedway, not ideal conditions. All credit to riders for battling on. And that will be sweet for Pedersen. He's well prepared this year. He looks in really good nick. His fitness, no, without question. And he's ridden supremely tonight to win the GP.
Yeah, supreme effort. And we're about to hear from the winner of the Finnish FIM Speedway Grand Prix. Nicky Pedersen is with Steve Brandon.
Nicky Pedersen, Gorichan 2012, 30 Grand Prix ago since you've last topped the step. Great performance tonight, sir.
Oh, it was fantastic. You know, it's Kath at home in England. You know, she had birthday, so that will be the biggest for her to win it tonight. So happy birthday, Kath. You know, it's fantastic. It's been so long time ago, you know. I got the right team at the moment. I got the speed and I got the confidence. I'm feeling very good myself. So in a condition like this, you know, I'm extremely happy, you know, for this win. I feel that this is the first win of the season because that's, you know, I wanted to do well.
Bumps, bangs, bruises, all part of Speedway, but your work and dedication during the winter to be as fit as you are, as lean as you are, Wednesday night, you can put it behind you quite quick.
I need to feel the tears a little bit, actually, because it's, I worked very hard, you know, this season to be as fit as ever, you know, and so you only need one bang, you know, then you're out. And that was happened on Wednesday. So I didn't come here with 100% fitness, but I was probably, you know, 85, 90%. So to go out and win it tonight, you know, I can't ask for more. You know, the team has worked so hard, and the guys that make my engines at the moment, they suits me.
19 points, second in the championship, right up there, right where you want to be.
Yeah, I wanted to plug lots of points today. That was my aim, you know. I want to be in top 3, and if top 3, you're still fighting for the World Championship.
And just a quick one, the first ever scheduled back-to-back Grand Prix. We're back at it again in Prague in a week's time. A little bit of different thinking for all the riders now?
Well, I just can't wait. You know, it's as you said, it's different format a little bit, but to come to Prague, you know, it's one of the racetracks, you know, proper racetracks. So can't wait for that one. You know, I'm happy for tonight, and then next one, you know, next week.
Many congrats. We'll see you next week.
Hi, Miguelina. Hi, Miguel.
Well, a happy Nicky Pedersen, and quite right too. Many congratulations to him. A fantastic performance, his 14th Grand Prix victory in 147 Grand Prix now. And here are the standings. Tai Woffinden 22, Nicky Pedersen 19, Jari Campbell 18, Andreas Jonsson on 15 points. Andreas Jonsson. And with Zagar on 15, Jason Doyle on 15, and Michael Jepsen Jensen on 15 as well. So that's how it is. Here we go with the presentations. A great effort from Nicky Pedersen.
Yeah, and you could see how much that meant to him in that interview with Steve Brandon. I've got to say that he's chuffed to bits. He got a little emotional there. He said he was nearly close to tears, and you know, at times, you know, when you work so hard and then it can be taken away from you so very quickly. But both those men, all three men in actual fact, have worked extremely hard to be in tip-top conditions for this year's championship.
We're about to hear the Danish national anthem, of course.
Well, fully deserved for Pedersen tonight. That is an excellent effort from him, and there's no doubt that his early season form has translated into his Grand Prix win of the season, first Grand Prix. And I'm sure there could be some more from him, and he's looking forward to next week in the Marketta Stadium. Andreas Jonsson there, a great effort from him in third place. And yeah, he'll be pleased with that. That's a really good reward for him. Woffinden will be a touch disappointed. Nige, he's a winner. He's a former world champion. He would have been looking forward to trying a second place in consecutive years here. But a whole hatful of points for him, and he clearly is going to be a major threat for winning the championship for the second time. So yeah, a decent meeting. Not the best meeting I've ever witnessed, but some good performances nonetheless.
Had its problems, had its issues, but the boys got on with it, and one man who shook his head at the camera and wasn't happy about it was ultimately the winner of the meeting.
I think that's
got stuck in.
All forgotten now, though, Nigel, isn't it? Because he's the winner on the night, and even though he's got an open-faced helmet with some classic goggles there, that's quite an unusual prize for the boys, something that will be they'll remember for an awful long time. But yeah, it has had a few issues here, and there was some concerns about track conditions, but we have witnessed a full Grand Prix. We've got to the final, we've seen the big races, and Pedersen has come up with a tremendous performance on the back end of the meeting when it looked like he didn't really fancy it at all. So that is some performance. Woffinden quite clearly back to his best, enjoying life and relaxed. And Andreas Jonsson, after a very nasty injury, an injury that you would not have relished, he will be very pleased going home this evening.
Yeah, and terrific to see Andreas back like that, and Nicky with a huge smile on his face now as well. But Tai Woffinden now 22 points, Nicky Pedersen 19, Jari Campbell 18, so 4 points separate the top three, and as a group of riders on 15. AJ, Jepsen Jensen, Doyle and Zager all on 15 points. Then there's Greg Hancock on 14. So what is there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8 riders, 8 points between them after 2 rounds.
Not too much to choose between, but it's always nice to get off to a good start, because when you don't, you're always on that extra pressure, aren't you, for playing catch-up, and the meetings come and go very quickly, and it can be a real challenge to try and get yourself into the top 8 to secure your Grand Prix future. You know, Andreas Johnson in particular last year was under massive pressure. He went to Voyens, won the Grand Prix and secured his Grand Prix future, when really and truly there were some questions being asked whether he would be invited back to the series. He's there on the rostrum, he's had a good start, albeit he's had a nasty injury as well, so credit to him. But yeah, it's a night that we're chuffed to bits to have got all the racing done. It's a big, fast track. It has its own demands. It's not easy to pass on, but the riders have coped, and we have got through to the end. And as I say, I'll reiterate, that is a really, really good effort from Nicky Pedersen.
Well, Kelvin, thanks for your company once again. We'll be back together in Prague next Saturday. Terrific effort from Nicky Pedersen. Well done to all the riders. Different type of track here. And Kelvin, look forward to seeing you in Prague in 7 days' time. Thanks for your company.
Looking forward to it.
Cheers.